Hey everyone, I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome and thank you for joining one and all. Okay, now I've got a question for you guys. And this may, on the face of it, when I first asked the question I'm going to ask shortly, seem strange to you and odd. But I think there's a history for this. So you may have seen that Iran launched rockets during this ceasefire towards this U.S. base in Jordan. And we repelled them all. Not one got through. And then we, have launched back with some strikes. I want to ask you guys this question, and I am as serious as a heart attack, and I want to hear your response to this. So the Iranians launched these rockets at this U.S. base in Jordan. We took each and every one of them down, right? Each and every one. Not one got through. We took them all out. Do you think that Trump made an arrangement with the Iranians about that strike? What I mean by that is this. If you remember, before this combat operation began, he made a deal with the Iranians that allowed them to fire towards a U.S. base and land the missiles in the desert, so that the Iranians could save face with their people. As if, remember, after one of our strikes before this war began, this combat operation began, if I remember correctly, it was in Iraq. He let the Iranians fire some missiles towards a U.S. base in Iraq that went down in the desert. Is it possible that President Trump has done that with this firing of the rockets at the base in Jordan? And what I mean by that is, there's a history of him doing this, right? With this, and there was another instance too. The Iraq instance is the most recent, but there was another instance where President Trump made that arrangement. And what I'm wondering is this: there's a split inside Iran, right? You have the civilian government who wants this war over. They've been completely battered. Then you have the Islamic fanatics in the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, that don't want it to end ever. So which is it? What do you think's going on here? Is this something? Is the United States working with some people inside the Iranian government to bring this war down? Are we working with a faction inside the government to bring down the loons in the IRGC? It seemed a bit strange, everything that happened. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. The number's 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. Between the CIA and Mossad, we have so many people embedded inside Iran. Who knows? Half the Iranian government could be Mossad and from the CIA, right? Would you be surprised? Half the government that's left, because we certainly weren't blowing up our own guys over there. And the whole thing just seemed odd to me when I was looking over it this morning. It really seemed odd to me. Why, with President Trump, President Trump, one of the big mistakes that the Trump haters make is when they give analysis of anything President Trump does. Well, one, it's clouded by their hatred of President Trump. That's one. But also, he can do nothing right, and they don't understand that he is an outside-of-the-box president, right? He doesn't do things like other presidents. So their analysis is clouded by their Trump derangement syndrome, plus they give him analysis based on how other presidents react and do things. President Trump is different. And I wouldn't even think this, but there were two instances. The one most recently was in Iraq. The other one I can't recall offhand, but there were two instances where Trump made a deal after we did a military operation to let them launch rockets towards U.S. bases so long as they landed in the desert so that they could show their people they're fighting back, remember? And this attack in Jordan just seems like it could be something like that. Yeah, somebody in the live chat said 5D chess. Yeah, that's true. President Trump is playing 5D chess. And when you see that because of the Lindsey Graham funeral, we had Netanyahu and Zelensky here. And if you noticed at the Lindsey Graham funeral, did you see who was sitting in front of Netanyahu? Radcliffe, the CIA director, was sitting right in front of Netanyahu. I don't know if that was a coincidence or not, but this is that's the kind of thing that I would kind of expect from President Trump. You know, President Trump has a lifetime history of being anti-war. Why would he start now, right? Being a warmonger. He's always looking for ways to end wars, like he's doing in the Mideast right now. Remember, this is not a new war that we've started. This is America's oldest war, longest war we've ever had that President Trump is ending, as well as bringing about a permanent Mideast peace, which no president has even come close to doing. So your thoughts on that certainly are welcome. You know, when it comes to President Trump and these things, you really have to look at things a little different. Now, we obviously have incredible capabilities, and they fired off all those rockets at one of our, if you're on hold, hang in there. They fired off all those rockets at one of our aircraft carriers weeks ago, and we took them all out. But this is a little different. They don't have much left. Right? They don't have much left. Maybe maybe he made an arrangement so that we could get them to exhaust what missiles they had left. Maybe he did it, made an arrangement because we wanted to see where they had some rockets we haven't taken out yet. The whole thing, something seems off about it to me. It just doesn't seem organic. Do you guys agree with that or not? Is that crazy thinking? Do I need more caffeine this morning? I don't think so. This attack towards Jordan at the U.S. base just is not. It just doesn't seem like the normal thing. And here's Axios: Iran launches missiles at U.S. base for first time since Trump paused strikes, and we did. And if you notice, Israel has backed off big time too. Okay, so that's one thing. I'm going to bring up I've got a lot to cover on the program today. The radio show will begin in about, let me check the time. Hold on a second, let me check the time. The radio show will begin in about 3 minutes or so. I started a little later than I normally would because one of my cars has a dead battery. You know, my new car has a dead battery because I don't drive it that much, and the battery's dead. So it's so dead. My other car, I couldn't jump it by myself. I couldn't get my car angled up to the other car to do the jump with the jumper cables because the batteries are on. It was a mess. So I was trying to work that out, and I came on a little late today. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I do have a lot to cover, and this is only one of several things that I'm going to bring up on the show today. We'll be live in 3 minutes on the radio. And I will restate this premise a little bit, but I'm going to move on to some other things about this. But when you look at everything involving the way that President Trump has handled the war with Iran, this is unlike any strategy we've ever been involved in. I mean, everything President Trump has done is to avoid sending any U.S. troops on the ground, right? We had some people on the ground during a rescue operation, you know, with those down planes a while back. That doesn't count. And this just seems to me like the kind of thing Trump would do because he's done it before. You know, the Iranians are not normal people. They don't think like us. It's almost like if we sent astronauts to Venus or something and they found life on Venus that was human, it would be like us in many ways, but a little different. You know, the Iranians are completely alien to us. They don't think like we think. They don't see the world anything. It's a whole nother civilization that is really, in so many ways, not compatible to our civilization. Someone said, you have jumper cables that reach both sides? Yeah, I typically just call AAA, but I couldn't call AAA because I had to be on the air. So if I didn't have to be on the air, I'd call AAA. They'd be here, and I'd probably have them put a new battery in. but I can't do that when I'm on the air. If I call them now, they'll be here when I'm on the air. What am I going to do? Right? Because stop the show. So I got to wait till I'm off the air to take care of it. But it's been a long time since I had a dead battery. But my new car, I so rarely drive it, and it never occurred to me about not driving it and getting a dead battery because the battery probably never gets fully charged. I mean, I drive it once or twice a month to the radio station, and then maybe once a week or two to the store. I really don't drive it, and I learned. I won't make that mistake again. I'll drive it more often once I get the new battery put in. It kind of ticks me off because I have somewhere I've got to go today, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get the new battery in before after the show, before I have to leave, because I have to be somewhere in Miami like at 11:30, and I don't get off the air till 9, and then I call AAA, and then they come out here. So it's a mess. But hey, listen, these are they're worse problems to have. All right, stand by. Just a few seconds and we'll be live. 10 seconds. The show must go on. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We've got a lot to cover today. I'm going to bring up something here in the beginning that I was talking about in the pre-show, and then I'm going to move on to some other topics because I've got a lot to cover on today's show. So I don't want to spend too much time on any one topic here early on because I have so many things to cover. And this has been a very frustrating morning for me already, even though it's only a few minutes after 6. It's a very frustrating morning, which I may tell you about in a bit. You may have seen the story involving the attack on the U.S. base in Jordan by Iran. Iran fired a bunch of rockets at our base in Jordan. We shot them all down, and there's some reports that we fired back on Iran, which we don't have a lot of details on. And when I saw that story, it just seemed, I don't know, something just seems off about it to me. And if you remember, before this combat operation began, there was, President Trump had bombed Iran over the nuclear facility. You remember that? And President Trump had made an agreement, a deal with the Iranians after that. And he did this on 2 occasions. The first one I don't remember, but the second one I remember clearly. And he had President Trump made an arrangement with the Iranians that they could fire towards a U.S. base in Iraq so long as the missiles hit out in the desert where there were no people. Remember that? And I thought that was an odd thing because I never really heard of something like that before. But he did do it twice. And he did it so that the Iranians could save face with their people, that they're fighting back. They fired off the missiles so their people would see the missiles launching, the rockets launching. And I'm wondering if President Trump has made a similar agreement with Iran with these rockets that we shot down that they said were heading towards this U.S. base in Jordan. How close did they get to the base before we shot them down? I didn't see that in the stories I read. Have any of you heard that? And the reason I ask you this question is because, well, one, President Trump has done this on 2 occasions before with Iran, before this operation, but before. We know that there's a civil war going on amongst the leadership in Iran, between the civilian leadership in the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. The Revolutionary Guard are religious fanatics who want to be martyred, and the civilian government wants to come to an agreement and in the war. So, do you think it's at all possible that that President Trump allowed them to do this? Now, he could have done it for a number of reasons. He could have done it for them a face-saving maneuver. He could have made an arrangement. I'm assuming that we have a lot of people inside the government, by the way, of Iran that are with the CIA and Mossad. I just assume that, right? And the more Iranian government leaders that are taken out, the more of our people would be closer to them, if that's true. So he could have made this arrangement. He's done it before. He could have made this arrangement as a face-saving move for something over there. for them to blow some of their ammo by launching these rockets. Now they don't have the rockets anymore to fire. There's a number of reasons to reveal positions. There's a number of reasons that President Trump could have made such an arrangement, but do you think it is possible? Something just doesn't seem right about it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. The number's 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
I just heard you say what I was going to say. It's very possible it's to give up the location of where their missile sites are.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But not only that, Brian, remember what he said, that if you hurt one of our troops, let alone kill them, what I will do back to you is going to be 1,000 times worse.
Correct.
And so, and if he's allowing them to shoot them to find out where they are and to see what they have, wouldn't that make sense too? Because I think their long-range missiles are gone, aren't they?
It seems that way. So my theory isn't crazy. It's possible.
No.
Yeah.
I believe it all. And at the same time, it gives the enemies within Iran to say face like we're still fighting, but it doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
And that they're not going to ever reach our bases. Trump's not going to allow it to, if there's any chance it would hurt anybody or let alone hit the base.
Yeah, and President Trump has said multiple times this week that they're still talking to the Iranians. See, it doesn't make sense to me. They're talking to the Iranians. We took down all these missiles they fired. President Trump said it would be a bridge and a power plant if they, so yeah, there's just something that's a little off with this to me. So I'm glad to hear
really
some
does.
agreement, because sometimes I think, well, maybe I haven't had enough coffee yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my second cup to brew right now.
Yeah, I'm on my like third cup, but you never know, when you doing these things. All right, Jeff, I appreciate the call.
Have a good day, Brian.
All right, appreciate it. This morning it was a very frustrating morning for me because one of my cars, my new car, the battery's dead. And it was pretty frustrating to me this morning. And normally what I would do, it's my new car, I'd call AAA, but I can't to give me a new battery. Might as well get a new battery, not a jump. But I can't call AAA because I got to be on the air, so I can't do it till I get off the air. But and it was a little frustrating because I'm thinking, well, this is a new car. I have hardly any miles on it. What's going on? And I realized I don't drive the car that much. I drive it only a couple times a month, really. And that's what it is. It's just I don't drive the car enough, and the battery never gets fully charged, and it's dead. And it's a little aggravating. So I guess I learned my lesson. If I'm not going to drive the car, I got to be like those guys that have the cars in their warehouse that they collect and have the charger hooked up to the battery all the time. Now I know why they do that. I tell you, it's very frustrating. When you go out to your car and it won't start, it's frustrating, isn't it? Especially when it's a new car. But it made sense. And I was going to try to jump it with my other car, but my cables wouldn't reach. I couldn't get the cars, the way they're parked, I couldn't get my other car close enough for the cables to reach. And I said, you know what, I'll just wait till after the show, and I'll call AAA. That's what, when you get to be a certain age, you stop changing tires and jumping cars and everything else, right? You call AAA. It's worth it. I love AAA. I'll never probably change a tire again. I could if I had to, but I'm not gonna. Now I have a lot to cover on today's program, not just this. And after the first break, I'm going to get into some new things that I want to cover. But you're welcome to call in about this Iran issue. Did he make some type of agreement with the Iranians here? And is this attack towards the base in Jordan actually a sign that the war is closer to conclusion? And I'd certainly like to hear your thoughts on that. Those of you on hold, hang in there. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. I want to talk about to those of you out there that are suffering from neuropathy or have a family member who are suffering from neuropathy. You want to call Lighthouse Medical. We found Lighthouse Medical out of necessity because Steve had neuropathy pretty bad, and I thought he had advanced neuropathy, but actually he was kind of in the middle of it, like the middle phase, because when I was over at Lighthouse Medical a few weeks ago, and I met some of our listeners that that are over there for the neuropathy treatment that had very advanced neuropathy. I didn't realize how bad neuropathy gets. It does, and it only gets worse unless it's treated at Lighthouse Medical. And, I've met many listeners who have gone to Lighthouse Medical and have been rid of their neuropathy, okay? Some of them go on our cruises, and it's always the same story. I wouldn't be here if, I'd have to be home in bed suffering. I wouldn't be able to be on this cruise. I wouldn't be able to be here at Wings Plus meeting you if I had not gone to Lighthouse Medical Center. Their treatment for neuropathy works, and it lasts. Steve had his treatment like 4 years ago, and his neuropathy has not returned. And I have similar stories from listeners I've met as well. The consultation's free. If you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, give Lighthouse Medical Center a call. Now, if you have a family member that is suffering from neuropathy, call, make the appointment, and take them. Sometimes people are suffering with neuropathy so much they can't even make a phone call, not to mention drive themselves to an appointment. The number is 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, we'll take our first break of this Wednesday morning. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back with more after this break. All right, we're clear. Those of you that are Patreon supporters, and if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the video. I did a live stream early this morning for Patreon supporters that I am not able to play on the program. And when you see the video, you'll know. I tell you guys, I talk about a lot of things on my Patreon live streams that I cannot talk about here or anywhere else, and this is one of them. And it was something you want to see. So those of you that are Patreon supporters, go and check out that video. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description. Now, to have access to all of the content that I post there, you do have to be a paying Patreon supporter. So if you have a free Patreon membership, not only do you not have access to the content, you don't even see it. And membership begins at just $5 a month, and then you get access to the live streams. And not just the upcoming live streams, you get access to the whole back catalog, including the video that I put up there a couple of hours ago. And those of you that are already Patreon supporters that have seen the video, it's pretty disturbing and upsetting and revealing. So go and check that out. All right, I got to cue some things up here. Oh, yes. Hold on.
No tip of neighbor.
Okay, hold on. Got to cue some. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. I want to cue this up that I'm going to cover in the next segment. Yeah, there's crazy, President Trump just does things in such a different way. And when people are giving analysis of things that President Trump does and things that he's working on and working towards, the analysis that they give is based on how normal politicians and normal presidents do things. And President Trump does things in a completely different way. No doubt about it, right? Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. And if you guys could please like the video, that helps so much, guys. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please take an opportunity to like the video if you don't mind and help promote it. And I do have some other stories I want to get to, and a couple of them are a little off of what I would normally talk about, but I want to get to them. Oh yeah, Rick Scott would have been far better than Thune. Thune one of the problems with Thune, there's no doubt this guy is being taken care of by some very rich and powerful forces, right? I mean, because he's shameless. He's shameless. I mean, he could sit right there at the funeral of Lindsey Graham, who died trying to pass the Save America Act. He can sit there with the president and just lie to their faces. We don't have the votes. We don't have the votes. Nonsense. They have the votes. And he just doesn't care. So 45 seconds or so, we'll be back. So Thune is just, there's no doubt he's controlled by some very, very powerful people. No question about it. All right. Just about 30 seconds, and we'll be back. Yeah, you guys can run Kamala Harris in 2028. Yeah, she Biden ran from the basement. Is Kamala going to run from the drunk tank? Yeah, she'd be great. Yeah, bring a loser. Bring a loser. Run your loser. She was never popular. Remember when she ran for president? At first, she had 1% approval rating. After that second debate, 1% approval rating. All right, here we go. Stand by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey there, Brian. I'm Andre. I'm from Arizona.
Hey, Arizona. What's up?
Nothing much. I'm just scrolling through the YouTubes, and I found your live, and I was like, screw it, let me call. Why not?
Okay. Well, you're here.
Yeah.
Do you have something to say?
Do I have anything to say? I don't know. I just...
Well, you called. You called, so you called me, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you call someone, typically you have something to say. That's why you pick up the phone and call, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
But I don't know. Is there anything you want to talk about?
No, nothing. I tell you what. Listen to the show, and then when you find something that interests you, then you call. I just don't. This isn't a pitch meeting where people call in and I just say, well, what do you think about this? Okay, what about this? And then you pick your favorite, and then we have a discussion. That's not how it works.
I understand. All righty.
What are you doing? What are you doing up so early in Arizona? Are you still up late?
I'm just doom scrolling, watching
YouTube. Okay, hey, listen, there's worse things you could be watching. Stay on me. All right, you take care. Oh my goodness, it's a new world, guys. It's a new world. Now, I wanted to share. This is an issue. I wanted to bring this up the other day, and I didn't. In Florida, over 80% of us. Well, let me take another call or two. Maybe we can elevate the quality of the call, which again is not saying much based on the last call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Chris. I'm over in Pennsylvania.
All right.
Out of Harrisburg.
All right, Chris.
Yeah,
Trump's an idiot.
Go ahead.
Did you say the president's an idiot?
No. Yeah, I did. We voted for, border wall, mass deportations, a balanced budget, and we haven't gotten any of that. The mass deportations, most of them are self-deported. The border wall is going extremely slow. I'm not going to take up all your time. I'm not one of those guys.
Well, no, slow down for a second. You said, excuse me.
What are we doing?
Excuse me. Like you're a big Trump voter. Give me a break. Like you voted for Trump.
Yeah, no, of course I did.
No, you didn't.
Kamala,
no, you didn't.
I'm not a lefty. I don't vote for lefty.
Well, I don't know. I didn't say you're a lefty, but you certainly didn't vote for President Trump. Now, in regards to Iran, see what you have are a bunch of left-wing, vacuous, meaningless talking points, and you threw out about a half dozen. Yeah, what you said about Iran. You said we voted, like you're MAGA. We voted for no new wars.
I'm not MAGA. I don't support MAGA.
Okay, all right. You said we voted. Excuse me.
He's a globalist.
You said we voted. You said we voted for no new wars, right? That's not true.
Yeah, my family. We voted for balanced budget.
No.
We voted for mass deportation.
Now
We're
again,
not getting any of that.
This may be. Excuse me. Now, I may be talking to somebody on the phone, who has a condition. Do you have like OCD? Do you have a difficult time focusing?
No. See, now you're going on personal attack because you
No,
can't defend
because you.
and I'm not- and I'm not
Excuse
gonna
me.
criticize
Excuse
you
me.
as a
I'm.
person. What
Excuse
I'm
me. I'm
criticizing
speaking.
is I'm criticizing.
You're on hold. You have thrown out about 15 different issues. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Oh, he hung up. Guy's got some type of condition. Just throwing all these, Epstein, no new wars, all the liberal talking points. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, we're doing very well on our call quality today. It's one of those days where we are showing you that the calls are 100% screenless and unvetted, that we don't use a call screener. And you know what's really scary is that these people that call me, they're real people that are listening or watching me online or something. It's crazy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's me again. It's Chris.
Chris, it's one call per show. I took you again because you're new to the program. But but this is a place where we have conversations. You don't throw out 15 things and just talk endlessly. That's not how the show works. So that's just, I'm sorry. But since you're new, I let you back on, and I wanted to explain that to you. But one of the bits of spaghetti you threw at the wall to see what sticks is you said we voted for no new wars. President Trump never once said no new wars. Never. That is a liberal urban legend that fake news media and leftist and Trump derangement syndrome suffering people like you have repeated, but he never said nor ran on no new wars. He said something entirely different than that. Do you know what he really said?
Go ahead.
Well, he said no more endless wars. You can't say no new wars. First off, this isn't a new war. It's an old war, America's longest war with Iran since 1979. You can't say no new wars because what if there's another 9/11? Well, I said no new wars. We can't respond. That's an idiotic campaign promise, no new wars. No one with a brain would say something so stupid.
And this is an endless war.
No, he did not. This is not an endless war. He is ending.
Of course it is.
He is ending a war that began in 1979. What was the
How is he ending it when it's going on for 5 months now?
5 months. Out of the 5 months.
And the depletion of
excuse
our
me.
stocks.
After the 5 months, out of 5 months, how much of that 5 months has there been aerial combat going on?
There's very little.
No, hold on. If you
There's a whole lot
out of the 5 months,
ground explosions.
out of the 5 months, how much time has there been fighting going on?
Roughly 100 and some odd days. I'd have to
Nope.
take a look back at the calendar.
Nope, you'd have to take a look
March?
back at the calendar.
Since
Nope.
March,
Nope.
We're still shooting at each
No,
other, correct?
no. Since March.
So they didn't shoot last night.
Excuse
over
me.
The Jordan.
No, you've got.
You can't defend.
You've
him
got.
on this
I'm not
subject. Now, no
defending
one's perfect.
Trump. I'm not defending Trump. He needs no defense. You're the one who needs defense. See, you have an issue here. You're uninformed. You don't listen.
And now the personal attack.
No, these are just.
You show
These
your
are
true
not
colors.
personal attacks. These
Why
are
do you move
observations.
around
These
on
are.
the screen so much?
These
Stop
are
moving around
observations.
and start looking at the screen.
You know what? I'm gonna let you go if you continue to be.
You're
all right.
a dimwit.
Okay. Thank you for your call. I talk about this a lot. Excuse me, my coffee went down wrong. I talk about this a lot with Gen Z out there. Gen Z is a generation that has used a telephone for everything but talking on it. Okay? And their communications are through DMs and text messages or WhatsApp or something. So a skill that has been lost is the ability to have a conversation. So when I have Gen Z, especially Trump derangement syndrome suffering Gen Z people on the line, they don't know how to have a conversation because they don't have real verbal conversations with one another. If evolution was true, which it's not, okay, evolution's another liberal lie, but if evolution were true, Gen Z would lose the ability to actually even speak. Because They don't know. They don't do it. And when they call me and I have conversations with Gen Z liberals, it's one of the few conversations they have all month long. All right, the rest of you on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. But you guys know exactly what I'm talking about with these Gen Z callers. They don't know how to have a conversation, right? It's back and forth. You listen, right? And then you respond to what the person said, right? You know, they don't know how to do it because they don't have any experience. My goodness. How many of you are my age or older who spent how many hours a night talking on the phone to your friend? Any of you ever have a party line? Oh my goodness. That was the best. The party lines were the best. Remember that? How many people could you? I had where I could have 3 people, where there'd be 3 of us talking, right? It's really a sad thing. You know what else that Gen Z's losing? The ability to spell. I read news articles in major publications online, and you'll see basic words misspelled all the time. And that's with autocorrect and spell check and everything. The Gen Z is the first American generation dumber than the generation before. Think about that. You know, because there was a time, you know, like when my oldest grandparent was born in 1899. Okay, and he was in his 50s when my mother was born. He was born in 1899. What was the literacy rate in 1899? Around the country, it was pretty low. But over the course of the 20th century, the literacy rate increased. At its peak, I wouldn't say we ever had 100% literacy, but we had to be in the 90 percentile with the literacy rate in the country. And I bet you that the literacy rate right now is at its lowest rate in this country in about 100 years. Because Gen Z, they can't speak. They can't even write in cursive. So, you know, they're losing the ability to do very basic things that make people civilized, right? Can't write in cursive. Can't have a conversation, a verbal conversation. Cannot spell. Yeah. It's really, you know, the internet was supposed to make people smarter, more informed, better educated. And it's really had the opposite effect. And we're seeing that with Gen Z. And you can tell, like the last caller, he just couldn't handle it. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. There's a lot of people on hold. But, you know, those of you that are new, it's 1 call per show. Okay, you can call me every day, but it's 1 call per show. But do any of you agree with my assessment of Gen Z? They are the first generation to be dumber than the generation before them in the United States. No question about it. I can't speak for the other countries, but yeah. It's true, and a lot of it has to do with the internet and everything else, but also that the education system in so many parts of our country isn't about educating, reading, writing, arithmetic. It's about critical race theory and transgenderism and all that stuff. A 1619 project. It is sad. It is sad, and that's why we need to promote literacy. Like I'm reading this book now. My cat took a bite out of the cover. Reading this great book on D-Day. I don't have time to read during the week too much, but I'll read it. Read on the weekends. But yeah, they don't read. They can't speak. They can't have a conversation. 15 seconds and we'll be back. We're still in radio station break. 10 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. Good morning from Michigan.
Hey, Michigan.
Brian, Danielle calling.
Hey.
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, I kind of agree with what you and Jeff Jeff from Maine in regards to Iran.
Mm-hmm.
You guys might be on to something, definitely. I really feel, obviously, that our great president is, like 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of everybody.
Always.
And our great military too. So we just have to trust in what they're doing. You've had some real humdingers as far as callers, and
well, at least I have listeners. I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be like the Kaufman show.
Yeah, but sometimes we have to kind of step back and realize that these people and what they're listening to, Brian, and the lies that the media is putting out.
Well, what I was talking about, Michigan, was this. Okay, and I was Gen Z, when you hear these Gen Z liberals call in, they think they're very smart, but they're not. And Gen Z is the first American generation to be less educated and dumber than the generation before. They cannot have a conversation because they just don't have that. They don't do it, right? Everything's done through typing on some platform. They can't write in cursive.
Yeah.
I mean, cursive is like they can't write or read cursive. And they can't spell. They don't read books. It's a sad generation. We're devolving.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, my son is totally the opposite, though. Thank goodness.
Well, there's always exceptions. There's always exceptions.
Yeah, he's a great, smart kid. But let me say that. This guy wants to say that we started a new war. No, we didn't start a new war. We're ending something that's been going on for decades.
50 years.
Like you said, these people
it's a 50-year war.
Yeah, they need to really listen to something that's going to teach them and inform them of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The media lies to the people, and people need
That's
to
true.
Well,
listen, I appreciate the call.
Wake up.
All right, appreciate the call. It's nice to talk to someone who can speak. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Cindy in Tennessee.
Hey, Tennessee. What's on your mind?
The Iran issue.
Mm-hmm.
This last tragedy that happened with the soldiers' lives over there at the base. After that happened, I don't know if anyone else noticed it or not, but when Trump said, he made a comment after that and said, well, that's what happens when someone else does the job.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the interception issue of the missile getting through,
mm-hmm.
I believe someone else maybe we were relying on Kuwait over there to.
Yeah, I can't remember which country he referenced it. I can't remember which country it was offhand. Was it Kuwait?
Kuwait.
It was Kuwait. That their missile defense system failed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this time, I guess we just we couldn't trust them to help us out.
Yeah, that's true. You got to do it yourself.
We did it ourselves, and we were successful in shooting every one of them down.
Yeah, you can't delegate. Plus, the Kuwaitis, being a Muslim country, they could have people there that are sympathetic to Iran, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
So it could not be, it may not be incompetence. It could be by design. It could be sabotage from within.
Well, that's what I thought too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really want anyone else helping us out anymore.
Well, we can't go at it alone. You need help. You need allies, and it's always good to have friends, right?
And also, someone was talking about the other day, possibilities of what we can do, and why don't we let Israel go in with a lot of ground troops?
You don't want Israel to do. First off, you don't want a ground war. And the liberals would love nothing more than to send Israeli troops because they know how that would enrage everybody. We have a lot of Muslim nations on our side, but they still hate Jews, right? And the left are desperate to get a ground war going because this war's going so well. The loss of life has been so low. They want a ground war because the left and the never Trumpers want people to get killed. for political purposes.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't want us on the ground over there.
I don't want anybody on the
Someone
ground.
just brought that up.
No.
No.
All right. Hey,
Well,
listen, I appreciate the call. You made some good points. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, Brian. This morning,
Oh, here we go again.
agree with you on
Yeah. You
No,
agree?
I agree with you. Younger generation is stupid.
Yes. Okay. Well, appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Well, on that point of agreement. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Brian. From Virginia.
All right, Virginia.
I heard you talking about Gen Z, and I'm actually a Gen Z conservative, one of the few ones.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it's not necessarily that Gen Z is stupid. It's maybe that society and how it's organized is just not conducive for us.
Really, what's not conducive about American society to Gen Z?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily American society, but I would say it is more.
Well, give an example. What is not conducive about society for Gen Z?
I would say something, for example, the dating market. The dating market is absolutely appalling.
Well, it's tough when half the generation are gay. The other half, a big chunk of them are trans. I mean, the pool you have to choose from if you're a heterosexual is difficult.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You don't have a lot to choose from.
And also things like, job market. I mean, it's pretty good, but in some rural areas, it's pretty bad.
There's more jobs than ever with the internet and everything else. There's more jobs than ever. It's just Gen Z is a lazy generation. You don't want to work.
I mean, I would disagree with that.
Gen Z want to live in $1 million. Gen Z want to live in $1 million house, right? As their first starter home, make $500,000 a year, and have 2 brand new cars in the driveway, and take vacations to Europe all the time and everything. You have unrealistic expectations of how these things work.
I mean, I would say the vast majority of Gen Z just wants to live in a home, and that doesn't seem like optical right now unless something.
Why not? What do you don't live in a home? You live in your car?
But I don't live in a home that I own. At 19.
So what?
And
At 19? Oh my goodness!
40.
When I was 19, I rented. That's what 19-year-olds do. Not many 19-year-olds own homes ever. See that you got an unrealistic expectation.
It's my unrealistic expectation was to be 19, already moved out and renting somewhere, but it's just not happening.
Well, then you got to get 2 jobs. I have always had multiple jobs and income. Now I talk about having multiple income streams. But when I was young, I always had 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Even when I was on the radio. I'd go from the radio station to another job. That's what you do. And when I was your age and I moved out on my own, every once in a while I'd move back home for a little while. That happens until I got on my feet. But you have an unrealistic expectation because you have all these Gen Z influencers that you see living in mansions and driving Lambos. And a lot of times they've rented the Lambos, and they're not even renting the house. They're at somebody else's house. I mean, like I give you an example of a Gen Z person, Little Tay. You know Little Tay?
Little Tay, yeah.
Okay, Little Tay. See, I know. I have a daughter. I know stuff. Little Tay, she's very famous for being rich and all these houses. And it came out that her mother was a real estate agent, and she pretended to live and own the houses that her mother had listed for the company she sold real estate for. So you have this unrealistic expectation to be a homeowner at 19. I mean, come on, that's crazy town.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like, looking maybe 40, 50 years ago, even at 25, the chances of you being married and having a home were up.
Well,
compared to now, where it just doesn't
when
even
you
seem
think about it,
realistic for me.
when you think about it, how you're 19. When you look at the pool of the you were talking about the dating pool. When you look at the people in your age range, which would be 18 to 20 to 21, right? In your age, about half of them are gay, some other gender, trans, all this weirdness going on. So half of the possible dating pool is gone. And out of the other half, you got a whole bunch of other freak shows going on. And the way that people, unless they're born into a wealthy family, the way most people do things is they meet someone, they get married, you both have jobs, and you build something together, right? And but you got all this weirdness going on in the genders and sexuality with your generation. Like when I was 19. If you went to school and there was a gay person, they were like the one at the school, and they were in the closet, but everybody knew. So your generation has been wrecked by liberalism.
What was the generation that raised us?
I don't know, millennials. Millennials are like in their 40s and things. J.D. Vance is a millennial. He's the vice president.
Yeah.
But it's not your parents' fault. You want to blame your parents? I'm older than that. I'm Gen X. It's not your parents' fault. It's you've got.
I don't know. I mean, I think parents have to take some level of responsibility.
Oh, you're 19. You're a man. At 19.
No, I'm not blaming my
You're a
parents.
man. It's not mommy and daddy's responsibility.
I mean, I just think that that's actually kind of false. I mean, if the responsibility is raising people into being
well, what did it? So did you? Did you graduate high school? Wait a minute? Did you graduate high school?
I did.
Okay, so what else do you want from your parents? They raised you. You graduated high school. So what else? What other responsibility do parents have?
What if my parents raised me and beat me every day of my life?
Did they? Were you abused your whole life?
You just said though that I graduated and I was raised. That's all.
Well, were you abused? Were you abused? Did you?
No.
Okay.
I turned out
so
fine.
okay. So what are you complaining about?
But still, I mean, neglecting parenthood as a
please.
As
there are very few perfect parents. People have issues with their parents. That's a cop out.
I agree.
Butch up.
Yeah.
Butch up. Get a second job. Do you have a job or are you in college? Which is it?
Oh no, I have a job going to college. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, good. What are you studying in college?
Actually, poli-sci.
Oh my! What are you going to do with that?
Well, I've been working locally in my area as a political strategist.
A political strategist.
Work, influencing. Yeah.
And you want to be an influencer?
No. I'd rather. I want to work with strategy organizations in DC.
Oh my goodness! What do you think? You're David Hogg or something?
I think I'm better.
Well, that's not saying much, right? Because David Hogg's a creep. But the thing about that's a strange goal you have. Are you with Turning Point or something?
No, not with Turning Point. I actually don't like Turning Point.
Why not?
In my area, at least. They don't do anything. They'll sit around and be like, "Oh, this generation sucks,"
No, you got a loser chapter. Chapter, yeah.
Yeah, but then they won't go out and do anything.
A degree in political science is useless. What year of college are you in? What year of college?
I'm just starting.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you don't even have a major yet. The first 2 years is like high school. You're taking biology and algebra and English 1101. You need to think of a new major that has practical applications. Because a bachelor's degree in political science is useless. You might as well major in basket weaving. You would do better because you could make baskets and that's a skill, and sell them. See, this is part of the problem. You know, people go to college and they get degrees that are garbage. Okay? That are useless. A degree in women's studies, political science. You know, I mean, if you were planning on going to law school, maybe an undergrad in political science would make sense or something, maybe. But that's a useless degree. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. And be prepared for a life of working at the Old Navy. You don't have any skills with that. What skills do you have with if you graduate college with a degree in political science? What skills would you have?
So I'll put it to you this way: I've been politically involved for a good 9 years of my life. Since I actually got involved in politics in about 2016.
Yeah.
Just as a kid, just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Been studying, been doing things like that, and the first month that I was working with the committee that I work with the people that I work with, we had the referendum vote in Virginia. And us as a liberal city...
What was the referendum? What was the referendum on?
City,
what was the referendum?
It was redistricting.
Oh, well, that's good. Get the crooked Democrats out.
Yeah, we dropped the Democrat vote by 7%.
Yeah, but that's not a job. See, that's activism. That's not a job. Community activism isn't a job. You did good. You did something
but you
good.
Can turn that into a job easily.
Good luck.
I mean, I don't care if I go into debt as long as I'm able to make an impact historically.
Really? You don't care if you go into debt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what you say now.
I mean, if I go into debt by $100K, whatever, you can pay that off. I care much more about just providing for the country.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson died millions of dollars in debt. Nobody talks about
Thomas Jefferson was one of the richest men in America. When he was president and before and even after his death, right? I mean, he was one of the richest men in the country. Debt's not always a bad thing, but he had a lot of property. He had slaves. He had an estate. He had a lot of assets. You don't have any assets.
No, not at all.
I know you probably think I'm a jerk, but I would hope your parents would tell you not to major in political science unless you're going to go to law school or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually the first person in my family to go to college.
Well, that's awesome. That's a good thing. So get a degree that has real world applications so that you can be not only the first person with a degree, but maybe make more than anybody in your family has ever made, right? Become an accountant.
Yeah.
Become an attorney. You don't want to be a community activist. You'll be poor.
Yeah.
You'll be poor. All right, I got to run. I'm very late for the break. Take care. We'll be right back. I don't want to be too hard on the guy, but, what do you guys think? Was I too hard on him? Oh, my goodness. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back.
Some of life's most meaningful memories can come from something as simple as a familiar scent. And that's the inspiration behind Heavenly Scents, a handcrafted Etsy shop created from love, healing, and the memory of a cherished mother whose warmth and kindness continue to inspire every product. After struggling for years with sensitive skin, eczema, and unexplained hives, the creator of Heavenly Scents began making gentle goat milk body products using simple ingredients she could trust. What started as a personal journey soon became a passion for creating products that are as soothing to the skin as they are comforting to the soul. From rich, moisturizing goat milk soaps to beautifully scented body products, every item is handcrafted with care to help you relax, refresh, and enjoy a little everyday luxury. Whether you're searching for a thoughtful gift or treating yourself to something special, discover the handmade difference at Heavenly Scents online at heavenlyscents3.etsy.com. That's the number 3, heavenlyscents3.etsy.com. Visit the shop right now, view the inventory, and find the scent that feels like home. heavenlyscents3.etsy.com. Modern life doesn't come with an instruction manual. It comes with endless notifications, distractions, and a to-do list that never seems to end. But what if getting your life back on track could actually make you laugh? It is possible. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in Get Done, Why Your Brain Isn't Built for 2026 from author Newt Steele. Get Done is a funny, honest, and supportive guide to cutting through the chaos, overcoming distractions, and finally making real progress when life gets messy. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed or just need a fresh perspective, this must-read book will have you laughing your way through your to-do list while helping you get back to what really matters. Get Done, Why Your Brain Isn't Built for 2026 from author Newt Steele is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Just go to Amazon and search Newt Steele, Knute, and get on with living.
All right, we'll be back in about a minute. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. And if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, all right? 888-465-2631. You know, when I was trying to get my car close enough, my second car close enough to jump my car with the dead battery, you know, do you think that Ben Shapiro could jump a car? Do you think he'd know how to hook up the jumper cables? They were just a little too short because I parked the car just too close to the garage and I couldn't get the other car over there. Oh my God. I bet you Ben Shapiro couldn't change a tire, check the oil, or jump a car. What do you guys think? All right, stand by. We got about 30 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the phones when we get back. Oh, man. Yep, the number's pinned in the live chat. If you've not already done it, please like the video. Oh, boy. Here we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Doc.
Hey, Doc. What's up?
Good morning, Doc from Texas.
Yeah, Doc from Texas. What's up?
Oh, man, enjoying this beautiful morning, looking outside my window at my hotel at the Gulf of Mississippi, at the Gulf of Mexico. It's so beautiful.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
I'm in Mississippi. You know what Mississippi is?
Oh, Mississippi is on the coast of the Gulf of America.
Gulf of Mexico, bruh.
No, that doesn't exist. It's the Gulf
of
America.
Yes, it does.
Nope.
Yes, it does.
Nope. You don't even know where you
Okay.
are.
Yes, I am. Trust me, I know where I am.
Okay.
Just because. Okay. I got a question. I know me and you gonna agree on this, because I know you're gonna agree with me. Why don't the Republicans demand that Mitch McConnell get on video and do a video?
We have been demanding it. We have been demanding it.
The right people hadn't been doing it.
No, we've been demanding it. They got a new photo out of Mitch McConnell that looks AI too.
Oh, it's AI.
And if you AI. the new photo of Mitch McConnell, the shirt creases and everything, it's a different shirt than the first one a couple weeks ago, but it's got the same creases in it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
the rhinos, which are the fake Republicans, the rhinos have been involved in a cover-up to run out the clock on a special election, which they might have done already. So now we would be in the position where the governor would appoint someone, and when that period's over, it's a scandal.
It's sad.
And every Republican voice in America has been calling that out. It's Thune
and
again.
And people in Kentucky, and you know who really needs to call it out, and he's not going to do it? Donald Trump. He needs to call it out. He needs to call it out. Well, anyway, it's sad. It's sad that we have to go.
Well, if he called for it, you would be against it because you're against everything President Trump says or does. That's your Trump derangement syndrome.
Okay. Actually, no, I'm not.
Really? Tell me, what is something that Trump has said or done that you agreed with?
Nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
Exactly. So why do you want him to speak out, and why do you want him to expose it? Then you'll want to cover it up.
Yesterday, poor baby. He's sitting at the funeral yesterday. Poor baby sleeping.
He wasn't sleeping.
He like like my old grandma.
He wasn't sleeping.
We gotta wake up.
He wasn't sleeping.
He put a Tic Tac in his mouth. He couldn't even put a Tic Tac in his mouth.
He gave everybody Tic Tacs. He gave JD a Tic Tac. He gave Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, a Tic Tac.
He's so baby. He's trying to be like
what?
Bush and with Michelle Obama, but he would never be none of them.
He's trying to be a black woman. What do you mean be like Michelle Obama?
Dumbass.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think you should hit the dump on that, Mike. I had to dump Doc. He's a little upset. If you're on hold, hang in there while we wait for the delay to re-engage. What's going on? Is it a full moon outside? What's going on out there? You know, the last 2 days on this show, I felt that whatever Steve was doing yesterday in the last hour, and now these callers in the first hour of today's show, it's been a strange day, a 24-hour period. We're not even quite to the 24-hour mark yet, and then my battery's dead on my car. Oh my goodness. I do have a lot of other things I'm going to bring up in the next hour, and a couple things are things one of them I wanted to bring up a couple days ago, but we haven't had a chance to, and it's an important one. But first, I want to talk about Jamie Levack over at Swift Tax. You know, if you missed the tax filing deadline, don't worry, don't panic. Call Jamie Levack at Swift Tax, and he will take care of it for you, okay? And by the way, Jamie Levack can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. If you have not filed this past year or many years in the past, don't worry. Call Jamie Levack. He'll take care of it for you. He's got a direct line to the IRS. If you owe money to the IRS, call Jamie Levack. He'll take care of it for you, even if you've already made financial arrangements with the IRS. And he does it for a tiny little fraction of what these big national companies charge that you hear advertising all over the place, all right? This number rings directly to Jamie Levack, so you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levack at Swift Tax. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with more of your calls and some more stories that I've not touched on yet. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Boy, oh boy, I tell you, these callers today, that was a strange hour. If you're on hold, stand by, all right? We'll take some more calls after the break.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story in every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. Our world is filled with confusion, deception, and uncertainty. Where can you turn for the truth? Bible Prophecy and Truth is a Christ-centered ministry dedicated to proclaiming the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and shining the light of God's Word into a world darkened by deception. Discover powerful videos that explain what the Bible says about salvation and what you must do to be saved. Explore fascinating teachings on Bible prophecy, the rapture. There's also an in-depth creation versus evolution study that will strengthen your faith and deepen your understanding of Scripture. And that's just the beginning. Whether you're a lifelong believer, a new Christian, or simply searching for answers, Bible Prophecy and Truth offers biblical teaching rooted in God's truth. Visit videos.prophecyandtruth.com. That's videos.prophecyandtruth.com and discover the truth, strengthen your faith, and grow closer to Jesus Christ. Videos.prophecyandtruth.com.
All right, we're still in radio break. We'll be back shortly. So if you're on hold, stand by. I will go to the phones when we get back from the break. And if you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. Remember, all the calls are totally screenless and unvetted. When you call in, no one answers the phone. I just put you on hold. And I don't know who's on hold until you hear me say, what's your name? Where are you calling from? And then you tell me. Then I know. All right? So, and I'll take the calls to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. All right? Oh, boy, I tell you. 888-465-2631 is the number. 888-465-2631. We'll be back from the break in about 90 seconds. Oh, man, I tell you. What a day it has been the last 24 hours, I'll tell you. It's been something. Did you guys catch Lindsey Graham's funeral? That was really... I can't believe Lindsey Graham's gone. Really, I can't. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's hard to believe. I miss him already. He was a good guy. Okay, about a minute and we'll be back. And I will go to the phones. Actually, less than a minute. I thought President Trump's eulogy was very good. I thought it was very good. Very good. Sean Hannity's... Sean Hannity, eulogized himself. It was so strange. He just talked about himself in his show, and how many times did he say Fox News Channel? Crazy. It's like he was doing a commercial because he knew it was being broadcast. It's like he was broadcasting, figuring... I'll share this on the air. Hold on, 10 seconds. Hour number 2 has begun. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Good morning.
Hey, Richie.
A couple of topics I want to talk about with you. The first, the kid that called up the 19-year-old, okay? You know, they're confused, and they're confused because they've gone through school. They've had liberalism shoved down their throat. The parents at home, I guess, haven't taught them the right from wrong. They've trusted the school system. They're out there... Brian, they're out there. They're so confused. They're out there protesting to keep illegals in the country because it's an emotional thing.
And they think men. And listen to this. And they think men can have babies and have periods.
Yes, and
so
they're a little. I'm not even going to get to the sex part. You mentioned it yesterday. They want to send a lot of Haitians back to Haiti, and look how many jobs in the health field they're opening up. Jobs that Americans would have had. The same thing goes for housing and rents. If you take 20 million people into this country because you're a liberal and you have and you got to put them somewhere, they're not in hotels anymore. Most of them are in those apartments that you want to rent. And the government
the 25 million illegals that Biden brought here and the tens of millions that were brought here before by Obama were taking up the rental properties. And that's what was driving rents up around the country, and that's a reality.
And that's right, and yet they're out there advocating for these people. And just for real quick, even the jury system, they found out that jury pools. Can you imagine going in? You're innocent, you get accused of something, you go to trial, and you're being tried by a jury that's not American citizens.
But they have driver's licenses, so they get on the jury.
Yeah, exactly right. So now I'm going to talk about President Trump and the Iranian war, which you brought up earlier, and Jeff agreed with you. Anything is possible, but I see it differently than you. I see President Trump as a person who knows right from wrong, and he's got good gut instincts. But he listens to his son-in-law and Steve Witkoff, and he's listening to J.D. Vance, who are on one side giving him advice, and on the other side is Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
So he's trying to give the benefit of the doubt. He's trying to give peace a chance. But believe me when I tell you, when I see President Vance, J.D. Vance, get up there and blame Israel for the Iranians attacking because he says Israel is not behaving and we're their only allies. When I see that, and now Israel's on the sideline, hasn't been attacked, and these Iranians are still pumping missiles into places. So I believe what you said yesterday, they called their supreme leader, wherever he is, called for jihad against all of us, including in this country. So when you think there's I think President Trump realized and knows that negotiating with these people is an impossible situation. He doesn't want to take out
we're beating a dead horse here. Yeah, all that's true. But if you notice, outside of Iran, there's been relative peace in the Middle East. He ended that war in Gaza. There hasn't been any Palestinian Jewish fighting for how long now? And his goal is a long-term Mideast peace plan, which I think he's going to be effective at. Richie, I gotta move on because we're getting excited. But I appreciate the call. You take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, what's up? Oh, hold on, Doug, while I answer all these lines coming in. All right, yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Okay, I'm suspecting that these people who are shooting the missiles off are without real leadership. So they're just doing whatever they think they can do, anything to try to get back at America. They'll throw rocks if they could. These people are crazy. They rather die than let America beat them.
Yes.
So until we get real leadership in there and a new government, if they can find a missile someplace laying around that they can shoot off, I think that keeps shooting no matter what, how long.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get some sort of resolution pretty soon.
Well, I think we've gotten it. I mean, if you look at the situation with Iran, they're really in check in more ways than people realize. They fire a bunch of missiles at Jordan. We took down every single one of them. There's not been any fighting in Gaza since President Trump ended that. There hasn't been any terrorism against Israel, so that the Palestinian-Israeli conflict has been over because it was really Iran behind all of that. They haven't launched any global jihadi terrorist attacks. They don't have the ability to do that. I would say Iran is in check a lot more than people realize.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. But there's always a couple of those damn God guys that are out of their mind and just refuse to, like I said, they rather die than quit. And until they get told by their superior leaders to stop, I think they're going to keep going. And, this will keep going on. And we'll have this aggravation.
That's true.
We'll knock their missiles out. But I think it's going to be, it won't be long from now, maybe a week or two more. I think
we'll see. I wouldn't put a time frame on it. I wouldn't put. Hey, Doug, I appreciate the call. I wouldn't put a time frame on it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Aaron, calling from Wisconsin.
All right, Aaron in Wisconsin. What's up?
All right. I just want to thank you for taking my call. Number one, just want to know just want to know what you think about the midterms coming up, and what do you think is going to happen for 2028?
We're going to win the midterms. When I say we, I mean MAGA. The Republicans. Absolutely, yeah, we're going to win. What is the Democrat Party platform? The Democrats are saying, vote for us. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing. What's their platform?
Well, they want higher taxes and
maybe, but no, they don't want any. They have no platform. They have no platform. They're not, they don't. In fact, what they're doing, the Democrat Party establishment is working
you think? Go ahead.
They're working to lose the midterm elections because they want to smoke out the Democrat socialists.
Yeah. You think we'll keep the House?
We're going to gain seats in the House. Yeah, we're favored to gain seats in the House.
Okay, and you think we'll hold the Senate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you so depressed? What do you watch? MS Now or something? Why are you so depressed?
No, I'm not depressed. I'm worried that we're going to lose the House.
Why are you worried?
I think.
What has happened that has you worried? Who's the Democrat leader? Okay, Timu Obama, Dollar Store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. Really, you see him as somebody who's going to gain control of the House? They have no leader. They have no issue. Hating Trump is not a platform.
Yeah, calling him a Nazi is not a platform either.
Yeah. Graham Plattner's a Nazi.
Yeah. What's your opinion about 2028?
What about it? I want Trump to run for re-election.
I don't want Vance to run.
Why?
I'd rather Rubio.
Well, either one I'll be fine with, but I'd rather have Trump run in 2028.
Yes.
And then if it's Rubio or JD, I'll vote for any of them, either of them.
Okay. Thank you for taking my call.
All right. When we get back from the break, I got a couple of other issues I want to bring up. So if you're on hold, hang in there. And if you'd like to call in about anything we brought up so far, please do. The number's toll free. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing is amazing. He's a good MAGA guy who will never sell you a roof you do not need. And what that means is, if you need just a simple repair, he will do it. You ever hear another roofer anywhere make that claim? Tom Laporta does. And I've talked to many listeners who thought they needed new roofs and were even told they needed a new roof by other roofing companies. Tom Laporta came out and said, nope, you just need a repair. Now, Tom Laporta, though, he is more than just a roofer. He's also a contractor, and as a contractor under Florida law, that allows Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which speeds things up a lot. A lot of times people, they have problems with their insurance company. They have to hire a public adjuster. That takes a long time. Plus, you got to give 20% of it to the public adjuster. So you got to come up with that other, when you finally get the money a year later or however long, you've got to come up with that other 20% towards the roof repair or replacement. With Tom Laporta dealing directly with your insurance company, you may not have to go through that hassle. Some people even spend boatloads of money and hire attorneys to represent them against their insurance company. Tom Laporta has a special skill set dealing with the insurance company. Give him a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone, so you could call or text Tom Laporta at 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. We'll be right back.
Some towns never forget, and some ghosts never leave. From author Alex Giles comes your next must-read book, The Ghost of Port St. Joe, a ghost story of the Florida coast. Along Florida's forgotten coast lies Port St. Joe. It's a town where a tragic past refuses to stay buried. When Alex discovers a mysterious gold locket, he awakens spirits trapped for nearly 2 centuries and uncovers a love story that death could never end. If you love Southern Gothic suspense, haunted history, unforgettable characters, and chilling mysteries, The Ghost of Port St. Joe will keep you turning pages late into the night. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover edition, as well as Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Smashwords, Kobo, and learn more on the author's website, alex-giles.com. The Ghost of Port St. Joe from author Alex Giles. Order your copy today, because sometimes the dead are only waiting to be remembered. Are you retired and wondering what comes next? Your experience still has value. Your passions, hobbies, knowledge, and skills could become the foundation of a profitable online business. At retirementprogram.org, you'll discover a practical internet marketing strategy designed to help everyday people just like you create additional income from what they already know. With retirementprogram.org, you'll learn how to build your very first website, even with no programming experience. Discover the basics of getting your website found on Google. Learn to attract targeted visitors and turn that traffic into revenue. This free step-by-step guide explains how to choose a topic, create useful content, improve your search rankings, and explore proven ways to make money online. Retirementprogram.org isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about investing a little time each week to build something that can grow over time and provide an additional source of income during your retirement. Your dream career may not be behind you. It could be just beginning. Visit retirementprogram.org today and get your free guide, and share the link on all your social media so your retired friends can join in too. That's retirementprogram.org.
All right, we got about 90 seconds till we're back from the radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free and pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And if you've not already done it, please like the video if you don't mind. Now, those of you that are Medicare recipients, call Chapter. It's completely free. It costs you nothing. Let them review your Medicare policy. They cover every state. And make sure that you have the right policy for your needs. And if you're paying money, that you're not paying too much. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. You'll speak with a licensed medical advisor. It will cost you nothing. And they have access to all of the over 25,000 Medicare plans out there, okay? And if the plan you have is right for you, they'll tell you, all right? 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033 for Chapter. All right, we got about 30 seconds, guys. We'll be back. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Call us on hold, stand by. There's a couple of stories I want to touch on that are unrelated to what I've talked about so far, but I want to discuss them a little bit. In Florida, it's about 83 to 85% of Floridians live in an HOA, right? A community with a homeowners association. And I got to tell you, they're tyrants and they're Nazis. I hate my HOA. You go to your HOA meeting, the HOA, they are, no matter where you live, the HOA, they're monsters, okay? They're dictators. And I've been to my HOA meetings. It's crazy. You're not, as a homeowner, you're not meant to speak. They have police there, and you will see people get arrested at HOA meetings just for speaking without being called upon. It's crazy. And HOAs are monsters. I wish we could abolish them. The only thing that they're good for is they stop your neighbor from painting their house fluorescent green or glow-in-the-dark colors or something, But other than that, HOAs are just, you get afraid of your HOA. If you cross your HOA, they'll start harassing you with violations and they'll foreclose on your house. Stuff like that happens all the time in Florida. And believe me, most Floridians have an HOA story. And rarely do I agree with an HOA, but I found it one that I did. Have you heard this story with the HOA in Jacksonville? It's a 55-plus community, and they had a girl in their 20s living there, and they kicked her out. Let me show. This is local news out of Jacksonville. Covering this story. Now, let me cue it up. I want to just share this with you, then we'll talk about it. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Okay, hold on.
Today, this is the Oakleaf neighborhood where 155 homeowners will have to pay. Today, this is the Oakleaf neighborhood where 155 homeowners will have to pay a $1,000 special assessment to sue their 28-year-old neighbor. That's Bethany Michelle. She inherited a home after her father passed away, and today we are hearing from some neighbors who agree with getting her out.
It's really not about this young lady. It's about enforcing the age requirements across the board. They have the right to choose to live in an HOA, and they bought into an HOA where it's 55 and above. I mean, yeah, there are some younger folks like me that live in here, and that's fine because I live with somebody that's over 55.
Okay, now, this thing with the over 55 in the HOAs, this may be the first time I've ever agreed with an HOA because my wife and I, we're not planning on selling our house or moving or anything. But we've talked about it, and we've told each other that when we move, we will, if we ever buy a new house, we'll move from here into a 55-plus community. And the reason you do that is because, and you start to notice this as you grow older, is the younger generation, they're doing things you don't want to have around your house, right? Music, kids, all these things. And you move to a 55-plus HOA community in Florida because you want peace and quiet with like-minded people when you're 55 and above. And I remember when you're younger, you don't get this stuff. I'll play more because they interview the girl and tell her sad tale. But I remember once when I was about 21, 22, I flew to Puerto Rico. We've been there a few times on our MAGA cruises. But I flew to Puerto Rico when I was like 21, 22, and I was staying at this nice resort. And to go to the club, they had this very popular club at the resort next door on the island in San Juan, and I couldn't get in because you had to be 25. And I was so ticked off, I couldn't understand that until I was 25. And then I began to understand. You don't want 21-year-old kid. So you understand as you grow older. But let me get back to this.
Okay.
And while her dad was alive, there was no problem with the young lady living here. But the rules are the rules, and if we don't enforce the rules for one, we can't enforce the rules for all.
So you're under 55 living with your mom in this neighborhood?
Yes.
So if the same...
Now, that's how in a 55-plus community here in Florida, you can't, if I have I'm 55, I have a condo, I have a house, my daughter can, no matter what age she is, can live with me. But the problem is you can't live there by yourself.
Same situation were to happen to you,
if my mom was to if something was to happen to my mom and she was to pass away, I would fully be under the understanding that I would not live here. Like, I cannot live here because I'm not 55.
Now, how do you feel about the litigation and the $1,000 you all will have to pay?
No one's excited about the $1,000. No one.
This community is now getting national attention because of this issue, and that's bringing...
By the way, what a loser that woman is. She's like 35, 40 years old. She's living with her elderly mother.
Up some mixed feelings.
And she's not going to be paying the $1,000. Mommy will.
So how are you feeling about all the national attention? It's been a lot. Like, me as a person, personally, I am not equipped to deal with this. But being that I have been put in a position to potentially become an advocate for caregivers, to become maybe one of the first to figure out what goes on in a situation like this, to potentially even change the laws, because there are people who have reached out to lawmakers on my behalf. It's bittersweet, but it's for a good reason. Whether the outcome is in my favor or not, this needs to be very clear for all homeowners, all 55 plus people with caregivers.
Personally, I think she should move. I think her dad did her the great honor of leaving the house to her. But I mean, this is an over 55 community where they've chosen to be over 55. And I think it's really unfair that one homeowner who doesn't want to follow the rules is saying, all of you have to pay to sue me to get me out.
Yeah, and by the way, I won't play the rest, but the HOA actually voted and kicked her out. So she's got to move out. Sell dad's house. It's a funny thing as you get older. This girl, she's 28 years old. And she dresses in very tight, skimpy clothes. So she's going to have, when you live in you move into a 55 gated HOA community here in Florida, you don't want some 28-year-old girl who wears skimpy, tight clothes, who's bringing her hookups over and everything else. The next thing you know, she's got kids living at, it's not what it's about. I've never agreed with an HOA before, but I do with this one. I would be right there at the meeting, kick her out. She could rent the house out. She could sell the house, but dad's not there to take care of anymore. Get out, okay? With your tight jeans and your hookups. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Sean, West Lake Worth. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm just wondering, is Richie fake MAGA too? Because, he's been criticizing Trump a lot about the war.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you answer the question?
Is he what? Fake MAGA?
I was fake MAGA. Is he fake MAGA?
Yeah, Richie doesn't like Trump. Richie does not like Trump. He never has.
Yeah.
No, okay. So he's not fake MAGA. He's just not MAGA. He's never claimed to be MAGA.
Oh, okay.
He hates Trump. He always has.
Oh, okay.
Like you.
Yeah, because it's just funny. Yeah, no, see, that's the thing. My one objection was the war, and you called me fake MAGA, but yet Richie's been crying for a month because...
Richie has never supported Trump. Richie has never supported Trump. He doesn't like Trump.
Richie the bus driver?
Yeah. He might agree with things he does from time to time, like the big, beautiful bill, but he's not MAGA. Nope.
Okay.
Really?
Okay,
Yeah.
I stand corrected then. I'm sorry.
So no,
Yeah, I
he's
had
not
no
fake
idea. I thought
MAGA.
he was,
He's
like,
never claimed to
totally...
be MAGA.
Oh, yeah, I could have swore Richie was. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
I just was trying to hold you accountable, but I guess I'm wrong.
Yes, you are, and I give you credit for admitting you were wrong. That not a lot of liberals do that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not a liberal.
I know.
This is the problem that you come up with, right? But again,
What are you?
The first time I ever called negatively about was the war, and I just, you lambasted.
What's your problem with the war? We've won the war. What's your problem with it?
We were promised no new wars.
No, we were not.
No
President Trump
new
didn't
wars.
say that.
Not limited engagements, whatever.
No,
you
he
wanna
didn't
call
say
it,
no
right?
new wars. He never
You're a
said
sicko
that.
fan.
How many times we got to say this?
He absolutely did.
No, he did not.
I'll post it to your Twitter.
He said.
I'll send it to you
He
again.
said.
Absolutely,
He
in
said
2024.
no
You're
more.
right.
He said no more endless wars. You can't promise
Yeah.
no. And first of all, and
yeah.
another thing. Okay, there's two things about this. Okay. Even in the fictitious land of Westlake Worth, you guys can get this, okay? You can't promise. There's a few things about this. Number one, you can't promise no new wars, because what if you're attacked? Well, I promised no new wars, so you can't respond. The other thing is this: the Iran operation is not a new war. It's America's longest war. We've been at war with Iran for 50 years.
How many casualties has Iran been responsible
Thousands.
for on American soil? The answer is zero.
No. Hold on.
Zero.
Slow down. On
You
American
cannot
soil?
guess it if you're lying.
On American soil?
On American soil.
Thousands.
Yes.
Thousands.
Oh my God. Are we going to do 9/11 again?
Yeah, we're gonna do. Yeah, I'm sorry to bring it up, but yeah, the 9/11 hijackers. Some of them were trained by Iran, plus the thousands of Americans who were killed or wounded from the Iranian IEDs in Iraq.
Correct, because we shouldn't have been in that war either.
But we were there, and they were. So it's okay to. So it's okay. So it's okay to kill Americans in Iraq because you don't think we should have been there.
Distinction. Listen, you're making this distinction like we've had this war with Iran for 47 years, and it's just a flat out lie.
It's not since 1979.
Just say,
They've been killing the barracks bombing in 1983. How many Americans were killed in the Beirut barracks bombing?
I think about 250.
Yeah, that was Iran did that.
Right. Okay.
The Achille Laurel hijacking. Remember they hijacked that cruise ship in the Mediterranean and threw an American in a wheelchair overboard.
Actually.
No, the Palestinians are backed by Iran. Iran is behind all of Palestinian terrorism. Are you really this uninformed?
Yeah.
Do you listen to this show?
No, you're just a sicko fan. I mean, it's crazy. Wow, the backflips, the tricks you do on it, man, so to speak. As the kids say, man, you're doing tricks on it. And he was sleeping yesterday too. I can't believe you would lie so blatantly.
I was watching.
It happened. He's 80. It happened.
It didn't happen.
I don't understand.
It didn't happen.
It did happen.
It didn't happen.
Don't believe our lying eyes.
And if
right?
it did, so what?
Goodness. This is 1984 with you.
So if he
No,
did,
that's what I'm saying.
even if he did,
what's the
so
big
what?
deal? That's what I'm saying. So why would you lie? It makes no sense.
I didn't say that he did.
I get it.
I saw him give a tic tac to J.D. Vance.
You told Doc. Wait a minute. Now, do you not remember your own lies from like a half hour ago?
I don't
You told
lie.
Doc he didn't fall asleep.
I'm still saying he didn't fall asleep.
So
I didn't say he fell asleep. I said if he did, so
you're
what?
in an altered state of reality.
Okay.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Let me ask
Anyway,
you, if he was asleep,
about Richie,
how did he give that tic tac to JD?
How long was the service yesterday, Brian?
I don't know, 90 minutes, 2 hours. I was, but hey, listen, I almost fell asleep listening to Sean Hannity eulogize himself. So, it was pretty tough to get through Hannity.
Yeah.
What Hannity
It was pretty.
What Hannity did yesterday, I lost track of how many times he says I, me, my show, and Fox News. What Hannity was doing, being the narcissist that he is, he was assuming that the Lindsey Graham funeral was being carried, on all the news. So he was doing endless promos for his show on Fox News Channel. It was ridiculous. It was pathetic, in fact.
Anyway, I was just checking. Have a great day. Thanks for taking my call,
All right,
bro.
from the fictitious city of Westlake Worth, which does not exist. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Our number is 888-465-2631. Back after this. All right, if you're on hold, guys, hang in there, all right? We'll be back shortly.
Are you looking for a smarter way to care for your skin and your hair? You can do just that with Valaya AI. Valaya AI is your personal AI wellness coach. With just a quick scan from your phone, Valaya AI analyzes your skin and hair in seconds, providing personalized recommendations for acne, hydration, wrinkles, pigmentation, dryness, hair health, and that's just the beginning. Using advanced artificial intelligence, Valaya AI creates customized morning and evening routines, recommends products tailored to your needs, and even adjusts your care based on the weather, UV index, and seasonal conditions. What are you waiting for? Download Valaya AI right now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store and discover a smarter, more personalized approach to skin and hair care. Learn more and see how Valaya works online at mindhatch.ca. That's mindhatch.ca. Valaya AI, healthy skin and hair powered by artificial intelligence. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? You work hard, but feel stuck, exhausted, or disconnected from the life you truly want? It's time to stop surviving and start living. And you can do just that with the book from author Jane Morales Moras, Stop Dragging, Start Living, Reclaim Your Purpose and Power. Available on Amazon. This inspiring and practical guide will help you break free from self-doubt, rediscover your purpose, and build the confidence to create the life you've always dreamed of. With this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover how to reconnect with your dreams, overcome negativity, build resilience, set healthy boundaries, and align your emotions with your goals so you can finally move forward with clarity and purpose. Whether you're a student, entrepreneur, professional, or simply someone ready for a fresh start, this empowering book provides real-world actionable strategies to help you stop living by other people's expectations and start becoming the person you're meant to be. Your purpose is waiting. Your best life is still ahead of you. Stop dragging. Start living. Reclaim your purpose and power. From author Jane Morales Moras is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Start your transformation right now and order your copy of Stop Dragging. Start Living. Reclaim your purpose and power on Amazon.
All right, we'll be back in about 90 seconds, a little less than that. So hang in there. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back, all right? Yep, the number is 888-465-2631. It is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. And guys, if you could please like the video, if you don't mind, all right? When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. And that helps so much. So please like the video. And those of you that do that regularly, thanks so much for doing that. And please continue to. It does help a lot. All right, we've got a little less than a minute, and we'll be live back. We're still in radio break. Oh, man. These liberals, they have to believe certain things, right? Do you guys agree that Sean Hannity was up there trying to promote his Fox News channel show on all the other networks? I've never seen anything, when he said, Lindsey Graham raised more money on my show than anywhere else. Oh my goodness. I've never heard a man eulogize themselves until Sean Hannity yesterday. So bizarre. All right, stand by. Oh, boy. But I do credit the liberals for attempting today to catch me in something. We're back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
From the great state of Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio is not a state. It's a city in a state, but that's okay.
I meant to say from the city and state. Sorry
okay. What's up, Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, so I just wanted to fact check you, Brian. I support Trump. You support Trump. but you have to be be genuine and honest and factual.
I always am.
So you said that. Okay, how is it factual that you said the 9/11 terrorists were trained by Iran?
That was part of it. It's in the 9/11 reports. They were some of them were.
That is absolutely factually 100% false. That is not true.
See,
at
what
all.
you got a lot of times.
I was alive during 9/11, and it's
so
very
what?
personal to me.
So was I. But a lot of times, arrogant people like yourself that are full of themselves confuse disagreement and opinions with fact and being a liar. There's been a lot of I'm not here. Excuse me. I am not here.
No, you're up there spreading misinformation.
Excuse me. I'm not here to. Excuse me. I'm not here to do research from you from callers out there.
Okay, but you're there to spread misinformation?
No, there's been a lot of reporting over the last 25 years that Iran
reporting that said Iran trained those terrorists, or they were even related to Iran.
Well,
let me
you're wrong. I'm sorry, Missy. You're very upset here.
Do you know what Wahhabism is?
Listen, I'm not here to take a quiz or be questioned. There has been excuse me.
That is not related to Iran.
Excuse me. There has been multiple reports over the years that Iran helped train some of the 9/11 hijackers.
Okay, well, I'm saying, and you can look it up, and your viewers can look it up. Not one terrorist was trained. Iran had nothing to do with it at all. And what's so amazing is their supreme leader came out and condemned the 9/11 attack.
Oh, really? So yeah, and then so now you want to cite. This is interesting. So you're citing. So you're citing as this is amazing.
For an illegal war.
Excuse me.
You're trying to get consent from your viewers through misinforming and lying about Iran.
You're giving me as a source of credibility the Ayatollah Khomeini? Are you out of your mind?
That is not my source.
You said their supreme leader. You said the Iranian supreme leader said.
That is not my source to tell me that they had nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. That is not my source. I am just plainly stating.
So why are you so hysterical? You said this is personal to you.
Because in the 9/11 attacks, I lost a dear friend of mine.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate it, and it would be respectful that we do not lie.
I'm not lying.
Souls,
I'm not lying.
Souls that we lost.
I'm not lying.
Can you prove to me that
I'm
something to do with 9/11?
No, I'm not here. Listen.
What reporting?
I am not here to prove anything to you. And the court of public. When I I do this show every day, 7 days a week. All right, and I've done it for over 30 years. I don't have a massive filing cabinet for every reference I make to pull out an article and say, come on, that's stupid.
Okay, so we would know that. Okay.
I am a well-read and informed person, and
you might be informed in certain areas, but in foreign policy, you are completely.
But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I'm glad you're calling from Columbus, Ohio, because, being my hometown and all, there's something in Columbus, Ohio that could help. Yeah, Columbus, Ohio is my hometown, proud to say. But there's something in Columbus, Ohio that could help you a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What is that?
Well, what do you think I'm thinking of? There's something in Columbus, Ohio that could help you a lot.
What is it, Brian?
The state mental hospital.
The
state mental hospital. You are unhinged and very emotional and out of control of yourself.
Unhinged. You wouldn't be emotional if one of your best friends died in the 9/11 attacks?
It wasn't a family member. It wasn't a spouse. I mean, I could understand being upset, but your emotional reaction because you say you knew someone who died on 9/11 is a little out of control.
I'm upset.
It's a little out of proportion. Was it a romantic relate? Was it like your boyfriend or something?
No, he was my a really dear friend of the family. He was a janitor in one of the towers.
Well, I'm sorry that we lost 3,000 on that day, but you are a little emotionally unhinged for losing someone 25 years ago that was not a lover or family member.
I feel emotionally about 9/11.
I think this. You know what I think. You know what I think. I think for the past 25 years. You've turned 9/11 into a big part of your identity, and you love to go around as if you're a 9/11 survivor, which you're not.
Of course.
But you're not.
Of course.
You're not.
9/11 is a huge part of this country's identity.
Yeah, but you are unhinged. No. You're trying to make it about you because you know. You say you knew a janitor.
9/11 doesn't matter that much.
I didn't say that. What I'm saying to you is that you've created this persona where you had an acquaintance who died on 9/11, and you're trying to pass yourself off as a 9/11 family member or something. Your grief is out of proportion, and you need help.
You're telling me I was not personally affected by losing somebody and losing my dear American.
Being this upset 25 years later over an acquaintance that you're not related to or not a lover to is. No, that's strange.
That's strange?
Yes, you need psychological help. You need therapy. You need therapy.
Do you know how many people died in the war on terror?
A lot.
Okay. And I also knew somebody in 9/11.
You also knew someone on 9/11. A lot of people did. A lot of people did. Not just you.
Okay, so why would I not be upset 25 years later?
Because what you are is a what you are is someone whose life is rather empty, and you've created this whole identity around something that really had nothing to do with you.
Me personally for
I'm not attacking you. I'm giving an observation. I'm giving you an observation. All of us lost 3,000 fellow Americans on 9/11. Okay, not just you.
Are you sure? Because you seem like you're telling me to just get over it. It's 25 years ago.
No, you're trying to connect yourself to this acquaintance that you said your family knew this guy and act like it was your dad that was killed on 9/11.
In a lot of ways, he was a father figure to my family.
You need psychological help.
Okay, I need psychological help, and you need a misinformation.
No, you need a very good therapist.
You need to take a class on misinformation and look up your facts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just throw
and I'll throw this out to the audience. Does this guy's level of identity connected to a family acquaintance now you've elevated to the father figure of the family, and all this? You're a sad guy in search of an identity. And being a 9/11 survivor is this thing you've created. You're cosplaying.
I'm cosplaying?
Correct.
Brian, you should be ashamed of how un-American and how disgusting you are.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes.
You have a disgusting soul.
Yes.
You're a terrible human being.
Uh-huh.
And you think
now if it was your dad, if it was your dad or your grandpa or your mother or your sister or your brother, I would still say that you needed counseling because you obviously are at a stage of grief and anger 25 years later that's unhealthy.
What do you mean? I came to terms with the death.
You haven't come. Oh my goodness! You have not come to terms with anything.
Yes, I have. What I'm not going to come to terms with is somebody lying about who attacked those buildings.
Listen, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Seek help.
No, you do me a favor. Use the Google.com.
Use the Google.
And look up.
I'm not gonna. I'm not
Yeah.
Googling. Unless I,
Yeah,
maybe.
you need
Why
to
don't you?
Google,
Why don't
because
you
need
Google?
some help.
Why don't
The
you?
books that
I mean, let me
read
tell you something.
and the
You need to
misinformation that
Google.
you're spewing
You need to
out
Google
makes no
therapist
sense.
and psychiatrist in Columbus, Ohio, because you have a lot of. At least Google some grief counselors for your fake grief.
For my fake grief. How about you get some fucking real
Oh, there we go.
information?
Second dump of the day, Mike. The second dump of the day. Oh my goodness. We'll be right back. My throat's dry. Ugh. Okay. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us this morning?
Brian, one of the important concerns that people have when it comes to estate planning is avoiding probate. And a lot of times I kid around that people know they want to avoid probate even though they don't know what probate is. They've just heard so often that you need to avoid probate. And why do we want to avoid probate? Because it's avoiding court. It's not you yourself avoiding court. It's your loved ones, usually your surviving spouse, your children, grandchildren, whoever you name to be in that position as successor to you in your will or the person in your trust if it's not fully funded. All of those things could end up leaving your estate going through the probate process, and the probate process is something you don't want to do. Think about it. If you've ever had to go to court for any reason in your life, whether it be a traffic ticket, a divorce, any kind of business dispute, anything, it's not a pleasant experience. It's not something you want to go through. It's not something you want to leave your loved ones to have to go through after your death. They're already going through a lot at the time of your passing, having to deal with the grief and all the arrangements, everything else. And now they're going to have to deal with lawyers and take a year or two to deal with this process, deal with the judge, spend all this money. It could be very, very expensive, very time consuming. When you could have set things up properly and avoided this entire process, and avoided going to court, the assets would have gone to the beneficiaries very quickly with little or no expense. It would not have been a public process like probate would have been. So it's avoidable. You just have to plan to avoid it. And that's one of the things we help people do at the Siegel Law Group.
Yeah, and probate can be expensive. You got the legal fees, and I imagine, Barry, there's some real nightmare situations where families, because they can't sell the house, they have to maintain the house and pay taxes and HOA fees and mortgage. It's got to be a real financial mess for a lot of families, probate, Barry.
Yeah, it sure is, and that's one of the reasons why it's one of the number one goals that people have when they come to see an attorney like us. They want to avoid probate. Now, there are shortcuts. There's ways that people could try to avoid probate without setting up a trust.
Yeah, good luck.
But there are problems with those situations as well. And those are things we can go over with you during your free consultation, or if you come to one of our upcoming seminars that will be resuming in probably late August or September.
Yeah.
So we can give all those explanations. I know we don't have time to go through it all today on the show, but there's a lot of information we provide to you during our consultation.
Well, listen, call the Siegel Law Group and schedule your no-charge in-office consultation. And remember, there's only a couple days left in the month of July, and Attorney Barry Siegel, for the 250th anniversary of America, is offering $1,000 off in the month of July. Here's the number, 855-FLA 3782, 855-FLA 3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, take care. We'll talk later in the week.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, take care. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, Carlos from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Hey, Carlos, what's up?
So this idiot from Ohio.
Oh my goodness!
So the Ayatollah Khomeini, whatever his name is.
That was his source.
The guy who says, right, the guy who says "Death to America," he's saying that he didn't. He
said that the Ayatollah. He says the Ayatollah Khomeini said they had nothing to do with 9/11. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
No, but he said that he condemned it. He didn't. The guy who says death to us, and second of all, if you attack our embassy and you hold our people hostage, that's an act of war right there by itself.
Well, Carlos, I didn't want to get sidetracked because the guy was unhinged, and I couldn't get sidetracked on too much. But he's got his dictators confused, his Islamic dictators. It was Muammar Gaddafi, who was the dictator of Libya, who condemned 9/11 after it happened, not Iran. Okay.
Right, that's
okay. But it was, that guy's nuts. He was crazy person.
I'm thinking it's a Trump thing, because if it was Biden or Obama who would have went into Iran and the media would have been behind him, he would have been calling his show saying, "Oh yes, we should be doing all this." I think it's a Trump thing. I think they just hate Trump.
Yes.
They all just hate
I told
Trump.
you, the Gen Zs that listen to this program and call me, they're really a messed up generation. Especially the men, if you can call them that, the male gender of Gen Z, they're messed up. They have a lot of psychological issues. You can tell they got a lot of anger, a lot of hate.
You know what I'm really, really upset with? That Judge Napolitano. Oh, he hates Trump every which way it is.
He does.
He does. Yeah. Oh my God! Every time he comes on Newsmax, I just turn it off. I mean, it's
really?
Like,
he is a never. I noticed that when he left Fox is when he came out of the closet as a never Trumper.
Yeah. Oh, he hammers them for every little thing, any little thing. It's crazy. All right, young man. Have a great day.
All right,
You're the
Carlos.
best.
All
don't,
right.
don't let these liberals get to you.
Are you kidding? Please. Thanks a lot, Carlos. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Blind colonizer from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, what's up? Blind colonizer from Fort Lauderdale. What say you?
Yeah, first of all, I just added something. I called the guy from Ohio. He said it's been like 25 years since 9/11. Like, get over it. But mind you, you keep bringing up 9/11 and saying we have a Muslim mayor 25 years after 9/11.
Well, I don't have a Muslim mayor. New York City has a Muslim mayor.
New York City.
Fort Lauderdale, you probably have a gay mayor in Fort Lauderdale right now. Probably. I don't know who the mayor is of Fort Lauderdale right now, but they're probably gay.
Yeah.
Not Muslim.
And 19 of the hijackers were Saudis and Persians and.
So that's okay. This is an interesting thing. Okay, so the 17 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. So you think Saudi Arabia is to blame?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, well, no. So let me play this out. Okay, hold on. So 17 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is to blame. If I went to the prisons of this country and said, well, most of the guys in here for murder are black, would that mean that you and black people have any responsibility for their crimes?
Well, they want a nuclear weapon now.
No. But they don't want a nuclear weapon. Hold on a second. If all of Saudi Arabia is responsible because 17 of the 19 were Saudi, are black people, if they're the majority of killers in prison, are black people in general responsible for them?
I don't know if most of them are killers, but most of the prisons are full of black people.
Okay, so are black people responsible for that in this country? Are African Americans responsible for their crimes or not? Of course not, right? Of course not, right? Yeah.
No.
Saudi Arabia Saudi Arabia, the president is building them a nuclear reactor that generates electricity. And it's being built by American companies with American materials. It's not a nuclear bomb. That's another liberal lie. I'm out of time for the hour. Blind man from Fort Lauderdale. Callers on hold, stand by. We're a little messed up on our break schedule. It's my fault, guys. We'll take our break for the top. Be back with more right after our top of the hour break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. That kid from Columbus, Ohio is nuts. He's just nuts. I mean, even if it was a parent, his level, it was Gaddafi that condemned 9/11, not the Ayatollah Khomeini. But getting logical things in, But when you, even if it was a parent, his level of unhingedness 25 years later is not healthy, and I would have told him to seek out therapy, even if it was a parent. Would you guys agree with that? Absolutely. We'll be right back.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers Podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers Podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story and every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers Podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers Podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify.
All right, we're still in radio break, but I can't show this to people on the radio because it's a visual. This is the new picture of Mitch McConnell. This is the original. Okay? Do you think this is the first picture? Look at these creases on the left side of the shirt, over the armpit. on Mitch McConnell, right? See the crease right here in the shirt? Okay, and here's the second picture. The same crease, same part of the shirt. Look. See? It's the same crease, same part of the shirt. Look at his armpit and then the crease down here. Yeah, it's like the same. What do you guys think? Is it the same picture? Is it AI? Oh my goodness, I'm in behind schedule. Okay, we'll be back in less than a minute. Hold on, I got to queue a couple things up. Give me a second here.
Love Jesus. And also Disney. This week we had a
All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian, and if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. I saw a story today in the news I couldn't believe. I never thought I'd see such a thing. There was a Bible study group that met at Walt Disney World in one of the theme parks, and I was reading this article. Bible study at Walt Disney World sparks debate among fans. And this group of women had a Bible study at Disney Hollywood Studios, which is where the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is, and they have that Star Wars land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And they actually had a Bible study unannounced that they organized, and people are freaking out. And this is awesome. You know, I was an annual pass holder at Walt Disney World for many, many years. And I got rid of it years ago now. I've been without it. The last time I went to Walt Disney World, security would not let me in. It was crazy. It was so insane. I even made a YouTube video about it. And, it was pretty crazy. And I got a write-up in the news about it. I was surprised. But anyway, these women went to Disney World and had a Bible study. And let me tell you, out of the entire state of Florida, Disney World is definitely a place that needs Bible study. And they made a video. Let me play it for you. Hold on here.
The girlies who love Jesus and also Disney. This week we had a guest speaker and went through Philippians 4:6-8. Then after the message, we broke into small groups and we went over some group questions. This study's topic was about joy. We all opened up and shared things that can steal our joy. And also, how was one way we could choose joy this week? It's amazing to see things God is doing in the Disney community. We even got stopped by a girl and she gave us a rhinestone Jesus. Leighton Elizabeth is a girl who hosts these every single month. We spend about 30 minutes in group time, and then we go enjoy some Disney magic. If you're looking for community, take this as your sign.
Okay, and and these women that got together, there were at least 50, maybe more. And I know where they met. It's at a restaurant that nobody goes to. It's like an empty space at Walt Disney World. And the online vloggers are going nuts, but there is hope. Because what Disney was exposed of, I'm not going to get too sidetracked into it, but what they were exposed as doing by Ron DeSantis, all of the trans policy that the president is dealing with, right? You know how he banned men and women's sports and such. That all happened because of Disney. There was Libs of TikTok on Twitter, it's now X, but it was Twitter then. Libs of TikTok on X somehow came in the possession of a private in-office Zoom corporate meeting with the cartoon filmmaking division of Disney, and they were talking about how they were injecting all of these transgendered characters in different cartoons and children's programming. And it led to Ron DeSantis cracking down on Disney, taking away their municipal status and such here in Florida. and led to the Republican Party taking men out of women's sports as part of the platform of the Republican Party. And the thing about this the reason I bring this up about this Bible group at Disney, what I find most amazing about it is Disney did not kick them out, and it's something that they do regularly. And they were meeting in the middle of the day in a restaurant on Disney property at the Disney Hollywood Studios theme park, which is a really good park. I like that park. I've been there many times. Although I haven't been to Disney World in 4 or 5 years, and I don't know if I'll ever go back. I've been so much, and it's so expensive. I'm not going to get an annual pass again. I cannot imagine getting an annual pass again. But they were not like in secret. At least 50, maybe more. They had a guest. They were up talking. They got their Bibles out, and they're a regular group of Christian women who are also Disney fans, and they have these Bible studies at Disney theme parks regularly, and Disney doesn't kick them out. So all the negative things that Disney has done, all the devilish things, literally, that they've done, it's nice to know that they did one thing right. But now there's so much pressure, and now the spotlight's on. We'll see if they crack down on these Bible women. If it was any other religion, do you think the Disney fans would be kicking them out if they were like Muslim or something? Probably not. All right, well, if you're on hold, stand by. There are some other issues I do want to get into. We're getting there's a lot of debates going on for people running for Congress, for House seats and the Senate around the country. And the Democrats, when these clips become viral, it's really a sad and crazy thing what has become of the Democrat Party. The Democrats have always been low-life, immoral weirdos and had freaks and geeks in them. But the position that they're taking these days is nothing short of bizarre. This is a Democrat who's running for the House.
Well, certainly ICE should be abolished. It is a paramilitary for the Trump administration. And if we only spent a fraction of what we as a country have spent now on ICE, on a functional immigration system, we would have had a pathway to citizenship by now. So we need to be focusing on a pathway to citizenship for those who are here with family members, farmers, a number of people who make our communities stronger. A robust system would be able to account for anyone who has...
Wasn't it Malcolm X said that beware liberal white women? Did Malcolm X say something about liberal white women? This is insane. Abolish ICE. Here you have President Trump. I want you to think about this. How many women in America in the last year and a half, since President Trump shut down the border, there have not been any illegal crossings for a year and a half. There have been mass deportations. How many women have not been raped, murdered, or both in the last year and a half because of President Trump and ICE? And here you have liberal white women running for office all over the country, wanting to abolish ICE, which is the federal law enforcement agency that has saved the life and honor of countless women in this country. And they're pissed off at them, right? I don't understand what has happened to the left in this country, but they used to take a position that they stood up for women and stood up against rapists and murderers of women, and now they want to take down the organizations that are saving women from being raped and murdered. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, let me cue this up. This is great. Lawrence I didn't even know Lawrence O'Donnell was still around. He's on MS Now, and he has Senator Padilla on. And Padilla, he's talking about how the Democrats are working to stop ICE.
We have this election protection task force that you just described. We've launched the Senate Election Observer Program to help have more eyes and ears out there to address any funny business in this election. Look, we're legislating to protect voting rights. We're stopping the SAVE Act, the Save America Act. They can change the name, but we know what their full intent is.
Okay. So they're mobilizing to stop to protect voter rights, and they have a team to stop the Save America Act. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, and this is something that's not talked about at all. You know, all these non-citizens that, hold on one second. Oh my, I got all kinds of problems going on. Okay, I just got well, I'll take a break in a minute. I just got a text of I don't know, it may be an emergency with the family. I'll find out in a minute. But Padilla here with Lawrence O'Donnell is talking about protecting voter rights. When a non-citizen votes, you have taken away the voting right of an American. Every non-citizen who votes, okay, every non-citizen who votes is canceling out the vote of an American. Think about that. So if you really want to talk about people's voting rights being violated, it's American citizens whose vote is canceled out when a non-citizen votes. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Oh, it just, family disasters. All right. Oh. All right. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Steve Kane Show. There's everything's I think okay, but there's someone in my family is on their way to the hospital in an ambulance, and they texted me from the ambulance right before the break. But I got my wife on it now, so I'll get some updates. It's the show must go on, and we've got a little less than 45 minutes to go, but. Oh boy, I tell you, that's why I usually put my phone in do not disturb a lot of times on the air, but then I miss calls and things that I need, and but it's one of those days. But I did talk to the person I called them during the break and talked to them briefly from the ambulance. I talked to them and the paramedic taking them to the hospital. So that's what I'll be doing when I get off the air. But right now, while I'm on the topic of health, I want to talk about life imaging. And, do you have someone in your family who's had a heart attack or a heart condition or even cancer? Well, you need to get over to life imaging. These are things that can run through the family. And let me tell you, when I hear from a listener in this audience who tells me that they went to Life Imaging FLA and found out that they had a heart condition they didn't know about. I've had listeners that have gone there and found out that they have blockage in all of their arteries, had no symptoms, no idea, and they're able to go to their doctor and take care of it. Or listeners who have called and told me, hey, listen, bro, I took your advice. I went to Life Imaging, and I found out I had a tumor that I didn't even know about. And, when you go to Life Imaging and you have the heart scan, when you have the cancer screening, it's preventative. You find out about these things before you have that widowmaker heart attack, before that tumor grows, before that heart attack happens. Call Life Imaging. Life Imaging have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade, as well as Orlando. Call now for your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250, just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. And make sure when you're there, you ask about their full body cancer screening and virtual colonography and say goodbye to sedation. All right, we are back. And the show must go on, even though I've got all these things going on off the air. It's just the way it is. I got to tell you, over the years, I've had more things happen in my life while I've been on the air, and I can't do anything about it till 9 o'clock. I don't think I've had to run out. Maybe once or twice I've had to run out of the studio, but sometimes things happen and you really can't do anything about it, so you're just you hurry up and wait. So the show must go on, and we have 41 minutes, and then I'll be able to get more involved in that other thing. But my wife's on the phone taking care of things right now as we speak. All right, well, let me get back to it. If you missed the early parts of today's show, you missed a lot. Okay. And we've had a number. Those of you on hold, stand by. And if you'd like to call in, please do. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And on today's show, I brought up a number of things at the beginning. And I've heard from a lot of liberal Gen Z callers today. And, what's happened to the Democrat Party is insane. When I first started doing this, the generation of liberals it was different than it is today, right? And really what you used to have when I first started doing this, you had liberals that were old people, they were retirees mostly, and they called themselves FDR Democrats, right? Well, the FDR Democrats are gone now, okay? Very few of them, if any, are left with us anymore. And the people that are Democrats today, when you hear them on the phone, is a whole nother thing. And, Democrats were always emotional and based decisions on how they felt, but they weren't as psychologically and emotionally unhinged as they are today. And some of the liberals that have called today, and I think they've all been men. I don't think we've heard from any female liberals today. I think all of them have been men. They've all been unhinged. It's just a matter to what degree. And last night, Stephen Miller was on Fox, and he was talking about what's happened to the Democrat Party.
The people you mentioned, the names you mentioned, AOC, Bernie, the Squad, Omar, these are people who even 10 or 15 years ago would have been relegated to the outer extreme fringes of the Democrat Party. They're now the center of the party. They're the heart of the party. They're the soul of the party. So the Democrats have become a party of freaks, weirdos, losers, and crazies.
Have you ever heard Stephen Miller speak any words truer than that, right?
Fringes of the Democrat Party. They're now the center of the party. They're the heart of the party. They're the soul of the party. So the Democrats have become a party of freaks, weirdos, losers, and crazies. But you can't laugh it off because it's deadly serious. When you give these people power, everything you know and love in this world falls apart. You have chaos, corruption, decay, violence, poverty.
Yeah. And he's right on the money, Stephen Miller. The Democrat Party has been taken over by the fringe lunatics who were the hardcore left-wing activist fringe, who were always mental patients, but now they're running the party. So how did this happen? Well, I think after Butler, I think millions of people who didn't like Trump or maybe never Trumpers, never voted Republican, I think Butler red-pilled so many millions of Americans that really all the Democrats have left are these freaks and weirdos. And I think Butler was one of the major turning points, inflection points in American political history. I don't think people recognize it as that, but I do. And I think that was the final. You know, when my mother voted for Donald Trump, I was in shock. My mother has never voted for a Republican in her life, okay? And she voted for Donald Trump, not because of me. She did it and told me. I was in shock. You know, and I think there were many millions of people who voted for Trump that never voted for Republican again, and it woke them up, Butler. And all they have left are the people that Stephen Smith is talking about. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Milo calling from Ohio.
All right, Milo. I'm hot in Ohio today. Can you put your mouth up to the phone, though, so I can hear you?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me better?
A little bit.
All right. That guy's definitely unhinged earlier. I think he was. I think he's just mad.
The other guy from Ohio?
Yeah, the Columbus guy.
Mm. Do you know him?
I mean,
do you know him?
No, I do not, and I don't want to.
Yes.
I mean, I guess people want to be quick to jump down people's throats as soon as they say something that's not 100% true, but it is true. Iran funded and gave safe harbor to the terrorists.
Well, funding is training.
They didn't.
Funding involves training.
Exactly.
Okay, to get you got to have funds to train.
Well, no. Exactly. So, usually the people that train these people are mercs from all over the world, but that doesn't matter. I mean, Iran funds terrorism all over the world. They are
listen, over 90% of the Islamic terrorism around the world for the last 50 years is Iran, including the IEDs of Iraq. You know, the one guy that called me from Westlake Worth, what a beaut he was. You know, he said, well, what Americans have been killed by Iranians? I tell him the IEDs in Iraq, and he said, well, we shouldn't have been there. Oh, so that means it was okay to kill Americans in Iraq because he thinks we should. You know, the way that liberals view the world is through a prism of insanity.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, a lot of the terrorists came from Saudi Arabia, but an extremist Muslim can come from anywhere in the world, and then they go to the areas where all the terrorists are being trained, which is Afghanistan, right back in the day. But guess what? Venezuela also was an area where Hezbollah and the cartels were being trained.
Well, Venezuela has been allied with Iran. They are no more because they're a client state of the United States. Yeah. But Venezuela was allied and worked closely with the Iranian military. They would do naval maneuvers off the coast of South America with the Iranian Navy for years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, I will want to say one thing. That I have not heard anything that Trump ever allowed Iran to ever shoot missiles. Now we do allow missiles.
No, there was a bombing. No. One of the bombing runs we did in Iran. I don't know if it was the nuclear reactor one, but one of the bombing runs we did in Iran and before this air campaign, President Trump allowed them to fire rockets into Iraq to crash in the desert. And there was another instance where he allowed it too.
We don't launch missiles. Same with Israel. If they know that the trajectory is going to be not going to hurt civilians or have civilian casualties or military, they'll just let them go because we have only a certain amount. And not to mention, that's just if something goes wrong and they shoot it and debris comes down. So they will allow missiles to just fly over if they know, that
no,
they're going to be safe.
That one in particular. No. That one in particular, they allowed them to fire them into Iran, into Iraq, towards a U.S. base, but they landed far out in the desert. It was an arrangement so that they could save face with their people. It was talked about at the time.
I heard the same thing. But I find nothing
it was in the news
anywhere that
it was
Trump
in the news.
Said it.
It was in the news.
Yeah, but did Trump say it? You and I both know Trump didn't say it.
I don't remember, but it was widely reported in mainstream news outlets.
I remember. I totally remember, but I've never heard Trump ever say anything like that. I just don't think he would.
I have a vague memory that he did, but I can't swear to it. But it doesn't matter. I think we can agree.
Even if you were wrong, I'm not going to jump down your neck and start crying over it.
Oh, like the last guy.
Just like that other guy. That's ridiculous.
Where are you calling from in Ohio?
Cuyahoga Falls.
Okay.
It's up north. Mm-hmm. It's between Cleveland and Akron.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, that guy was very, very unhinged.
He's
very
mad
unhinged.
That he's believing the propaganda against the actions we're taking in Iran. And,
well, Columbus, Ohio.
Very necessary.
Let me tell you, it breaks my heart that my hometown has become this liberal place of lunacy.
There's a lot of fraud there.
Columbus, Ohio is so liberal. They not only did they take down the statue of Christopher Columbus in downtown Columbus, this massive statue. God. They took down. They were going to change the name because the name Columbus was so offensive. The mayor was going to change. I mean, come on. I mean, they're nuts in Columbus.
Cleveland lost. They changed the name of the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians. There was only one group that was consistently crying about the name. But I lived in Colorado. I've been on.
Well, listen, I gotta go. I'm very late for the break. I gotta run, but I do appreciate the call. Okay, I'm all messed up on my schedule here, so you got to bear with me, Mike. I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton's amazing. Joe Thomas, his wife went to see Dr. Appleton a couple weeks ago. She was having some pain with her legs, and Joe Thomas told me that his wife saw relief and quite a bit of relief after the very first treatment with Dr. Appleton with his robotic laser away pain treatment. In fact, that conversation we have will be a commercial you hear on the program coming up, probably after the first. But I meet so many listeners who were patients of Dr. Appleton, and this still happens all the time. And I'll run into a listener. It happens all the time, and it's always it's a variation of the same thing. They're walking up to me, and I know they're a listener because they'll have one of their hands on a part of their body as they're talking. Sometimes it'll be the back of their neck, it'll be their hip. Sometimes they're leaning forward and touching their knee as they're walking. And when they get up to me, they say, I used to be in pain right here in my neck, in my knee, and my elbow. They're holding on to the part of the body that's pain-free, thanks to Dr. Appleton and his robotic laser away pain treatment. And I feel so good when I hear those stories because, the kind of pains that people are telling me about, pains from car accidents, from a fall, pain from arthritis like I've had, or my shoulder pains. I had 3 different shoulder injuries. 2 of them were falling off of my skateboard, my longboard. And let me tell you, the arthritis was. I think the arthritis was the worst. But when you have that kind of pain, we are on the verge of tears and you just want to go to sleep. It's that kind of pain is so hard to describe. And when Dr. Appleton rids you of pain with his robotic laser wave pain treatment and you're pain-free, you feel like a new person, and it is wonderful. Remember, with Dr. Appleton, appointments aren't necessary, walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays, and the consultation's free. If you have scans or x-rays, bring them with you, all right? He'll gladly look them over. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Oh my goodness. No, I got a call from somebody in my family in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, and then my wife's dealing with it now, and I'll take care of it when with what I can do when I get off the air. Let's see here. I've got some more sound bites I got to get to when we get back. It's kind of sometimes it's like hard to focus with so much going on off the air. All right. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. All right, just over a minute, and we'll be back. All right, stand by. 10 seconds. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, and welcome back. Call us on hold, stand by. You know, Mom Donnie's been in the news a lot. I've been covering him a lot this week. And he did an interview with a black militant news outlet, The Root, and they asked Mom Donnie about reparations.
If a commission studying reparations in this city recommended cash reparations for people impacted in New York City, would you support that recommendation?
First, I want to say that I stand by what I submitted.
Yes.
It's the truth.
Yes.
It's not a personal assessment. And we often think about slavery and the complicity in slavery as being exclusively to certain geographic areas of the country.
Right.
Here in New York City, we were very complicit. And so I look forward to whatever those findings are. I can't give you an answer in advance of them, but I can tell you that this is critically important because this is also what it looks like to acknowledge what history truly was.
Oh my goodness. Okay. New York was the opposite of complicit when it came to slavery. But see, this is, you know, what he knows about America's story and New York history and American history, you could put a thimble in it and still have room for, you know, I don't know, something big, okay? You know, I mean, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'll tell you, you know, his mother is a movie director who's directed movies for Disney. I wonder if she had a dialect coach work with him on his American accent, Mom Donnie. I've heard it slip once or twice in the past before he got really famous, but his American accent's pretty good. Not only, New York was, by the way, obviously in the free North and a Union state in the Civil War, fighting against the Democrat slave owners during the Civil War. But New York, as a city and state, when it came to the abolition of slavery in the United States, were some of the first places where it was abolished. And I want to pull this up because this is some stuff people don't know about, and certainly Mom Donnie doesn't know. In 17, these are things that I learned about in college that I haven't thought about in years. But when I hear Mom Donnie sitting around talking about giving reparations money, I mean, my goodness, aren't they already out of money in New York with all the free, everything's free? Where's all this money coming from? But in 1799, the New York State Legislature passed a law that every child born of a slave was born free. In 1799, right? The country was new, right? I mean, the country was new. We weren't even 20 years old yet, and all children born of slaves, born freemen and women, and I mean, what year was it? I looked this up because I want to get it right. In 1827, almost 40 years before the rest of the country, in 1827, the state of New York ended slavery. In 1827, the country was new. And they did it. And they just, and by the way, those were white people that did that because blacks were not empowered to do so. So for Mom Donnie to go around, and you see this in California where they never had slaves in California as a state. You look at this talk of reparations. There's a couple of reasons why people talk about reparations. A lot of liberal black people like to hear it, they think, so it helps get them votes. But a number of years ago, there was a black radio station in town. It was a Haitian station that played Caribbean music, except they had a talk show on in the middle of the day, and the station's no longer around. But they had a talk show on in the middle of the day, and it was hosted by two Haitians. And some of you will remember who go back. Remember Jean Jabouin and Miss Ivy? Jean Jabouin and Miss Ivy. And the station's no longer around, and I don't know if Jean Jabouin and Miss Ivy are still around. I don't know, but it was Caribbean music. And you guys know, I love radio. I listen to radio. I love radio. Always love radio. And I listen to radio. I listen to a lot of radio shows and stations that suck. But but sometimes bad radio is fun to listen to too. But they had this show on in the middle of the day, and all they talked about was reparations. That reparations were coming, and we were owed reparations. Now, first of all, they were Caribbean. So I don't know why they would get U.S. reparations. They had Caribbean accents and such. And Steve and I used to call into the show. And then I said, hey, why don't you have us on your show as guests? So Steve and I used to guest over there regularly, okay, on this Haitian radio station. And they were talking about reparations. And I remember Steve and I, we told them, why do you guys spend so much time talking about reparations for slavery? It's never going to happen. They were in shock. What do you mean? They were angry and in shock. And they actually thought that the money was coming. And so there are a group of people in the black liberal community that do think reparations are coming. First off, just because you're black does not mean you're descendant of a slave. And just because you're black doesn't mean you're descendant of an American slave. Okay, these are all things that are very true. Okay, I mean, there's been so much immigration into the country, and not all black people, even during the days of slavery, were slaves either. I mean, it's so absurd, and how far do you want to go back with all that? But Mom Donnie's talking about the reparations. Does he do anything other than give other people's money away? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Yeah, I'm calling in on the missile the missile talk.
Absolutely.
Save face, but I'll tell you this: the reason that they don't teach history in school anymore is because of what you just said. The history actually proves it basically interferes with their con job narrative of what they've done, and it's fascinating.
Yeah.
If you have time to read the history of our country, it's just amazing. Anyway, that being
that's
said,
my hobby, right?
Yes, mine too. mine too. I love history, but I do remember Trump talking and/or the media, but I seem to remember Trump even mentioning the way that Trump talks about these things, sort of off the cuff.
Well, listen, I'm up against a break, and I'm gonna, since you haven't said anything other than hello, I'm gonna put you on hold, and I'll go back to you after the break, okay. And the rest of you on hold, hang in there too. Time is short. Now, I want to ask yourself this: has your mom or your dad ever had a heart attack? Has your mom or dad or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle had cancer? Have you been checked? Have you gone over to Life Imaging and been checked? We're on the eve of August. August will be here in just a few short days. And, August is National Wellness Month. Heart scans and cancer screenings are something you need to add to your annual schedule. Pick a day. My wife's birthday is when we schedule a lot of things because we'll never forget the birthday, right? And right now, call Life Imaging FLA and make it a yearly thing for you. I've talked to some listeners who go down as couples for their heart scan and cancer screening. And let me tell you, I have talked to people who have found out they have all kinds of conditions that they have no idea that they have. And ask yourself this question. Out of all of the people you know who have had heart attacks in your life, in your circle of friends or family, out of all the people you know that have had heart attacks, whether they survived it or not, how many of you knew it was coming? It's always a surprise, isn't it? That's right, because there's not signs and symptoms oftentimes. In fact, in 30 to 40% of heart attacks, the first symptom is instant death. Call Life Imaging. They have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, Dade, and Orlando. Call Life Imaging now for your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. When you're there, make sure you ask about their full body cancer screening and virtual colonography and say goodbye to sedation. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, stand by. William, you there? Okay, and we're back. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals are looking lower after last night's attack on the U.S. again from Iran. Oil spiking up this morning, $5.30 to $84.60 a barrel. The stock market's all heading lower, and gold slightly lower. Yesterday we saw gold close down $47.80 at $4,027.80 the ounce. Silver was down $1.30 at $56.99 on the close. Platinum dropped $15 at $16.02, and palladium closed down $26 at $1,244. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,008 up to $4,049. Similar kind of ranges we've been in for quite a while now, with strong support for gold still at around $4,000 and silver right around $57. Right now, we've got gold at $4,020 the ounce. That's down $7.80. Silver up 11 cents at $57.10. Platinum down $22 at $1,580 the ounce. And palladium trading down $19 right now at $1,225. So again, market's still in the ranges we've been in. Certainly at the lower end of those ranges, giving everybody still a good buying opportunity to take advantage of.
Yeah, and remember, at William Youngerman's, a couple things. One, the metals are all available for immediate delivery. But one thing, William Youngerman, that you do, which is really amazing, if you could talk about this briefly, you will buy back anything that you sell. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yes, for over 60 years, we made a two-way market in all of the products we sell, and guarantee to buy back anything we do sell at whatever the current market is. So you don't have to look around for a place to sell your precious metals.
No.
You can bring them back anytime. We're anxious to buy them back also. So that's something that we stand behind.
Yeah, at some point, if it's not you, it's somebody that you leave them to will maybe want to turn those metals into cash at some point, and William Youngerman will always be there for that. Listen, give him a call. He opens at 10 a.m., toll-free, 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010. Stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, just want to remind everybody also that anything made out of the precious metals that's laying around gathering dust, bring it in and turn it into cash. We buy sterling silver, flatware sets, D sets, broken jewelry, any jewelry, watches, all of this kind of things that you're not using anymore can be turned into cash or exchanged for regular good solid bullion coins and bars.
Even like a broken earring, or a single one, anything. If it's made of the metals, it's money. And another thing you might want to consider. Obviously, you can walk out with the cash, but turn that broken jewelry or that sterling silverware set you never use into some coins or silver bars or gold. You know what I mean? I mean, you can do that too, right?
Yes, indeed.
That's right. All right, William, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, I'm all messed up on the schedules. The phones are pretty busy. I'm not sure what line he was on, so let's see here. I'll try here. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's JJ.
Okay, JJ, I remember. Okay, what's up, JJ?
Well, we were talking about the Iranian launching the missiles.
Yes.
Sort of a safe face tactic. And I do remember Trump in one of his, he's sort of off the cuff. He just starts talking about something. But I do remember him talking about that they informed us, or Trump spoke with them, or they spoke with them.
Yeah, I have a vague memory of it. Yeah, I have a vague memory of him doing it twice, and the last time he referenced it was in the deserts of Iraq. And
yes, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe that's true.
Yeah,
I believe that's true. And you've got a pretty, listen, you've. I mean, that's what I remember. I would defer to your memory. I think it's better than mine. But at the same time, I do remember that. And as far as the attack that just happened in Jordan, I mean, it's possible again. But the only caveat I would put on that is that Trump, when he was asked a week or so back, or maybe 2 weeks back, what changed, Mr. President? And he said, I got to know them. And they are scum and all this. So that may have changed the dynamic a little bit, but I believe Trump would definitely do something like that if it would gain us a foothold.
I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, I could be totally wrong with this, but I don't think I am. The CIA has been active in Iran since the 1950s. Okay, the CIA in the 1950s brought about the coup that put the Shah in power, and the CIA have been in Iran since the early 50s. Mossad has been there for a long time, and they're pretty embedded, and I assume that there are many people inside the government that are our guys, that are CIA and Mossad, and the more of the leadership we kill, the higher up our guys are. They're obviously not the strokes that can end it, but our guys may be doing things like giving away a position by firing some rockets or exhausting some rockets they have. I think we've got people in positions of power that are CIA and Mossad that are helping us in the Iranian government. I believe,
That's, to me, that is that's very, very plausible, and quite frankly, that's what I believe has been going on the whole time.
Yeah,
I've said many times, you can't cut a deal with the rabid animals, but we're basically chipping away at those until we get to some reasonable people.
Well, listen, I'm very short on time. I appreciate you hanging over, but I'm going to get some other people on hold, and I got another spot to do, so we got to go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee.
I had to give you a White Power Hour shout out. Let you people know reparations are going to come.
Okay. All right. You keep waiting for that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, no, not you either. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, here's Renee sitting in an apartment doing nothing with his life, waiting for the reparations. Good luck with that. I want to talk about Sloman Central Air Conditioning. Oh, man. I got to tell you, in Florida, you guys know, air conditioning is life. Nothing feels better than walking into your home with that ice-cold air conditioner blowing cool air with a cool house. And if you have an air conditioning unit that's running all day, if you have an air conditioning unit that's blowing hot air, if you have rooms in your house that are hot, no matter how much the air conditioning runs, you need to call Sloman's Central Air Conditioning. You need to call them today. Get something to write with. I'm going to give you the number in just a moment. Sloman's Central Air Conditioning is offering a 5-ton 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. Plus, it comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan that includes annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant, so you don't have any annual maintenance fees. That's amazing. And listen to this. You're also going to receive the Sloman's Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included in your AC package. Give them a call right now, 561-217-COOL. That's COOL. 561-217-COOL. 561-217-COOL. All right, we only have a few short minutes left. Welcome back, everyone. And if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm not sure if we'll get any more calls, but the Save America Act will happen, unlike reparations. But the SAVE Act popularity and the non-citizens voting and being registered to vote is becoming so commonplace, it's even being discussed on CNN.
I think we need to have transparency.
Oh, no, hold on a second. This is the different clip. I'll play that clip in a minute if I have a chance to play it. This is another one I wanted to play. Sorry, I got two clips from the same show. This one is when the conservative on the CNN panel last night mentioned Fauci's little girl diary with the little locket with the little key. And CNN did not want the Fauci diary to be discussed. Listen.
I think we need to have transparency around what's going on. I think one situation that, frankly, where we saw the government was certainly obfuscating, didn't have any transparency, was Anthony Fauci, who we're getting his diaries today, where he was purposely obfuscating about
Anthony Fauci.
You hear the mob? It's like the invasion of the body snatchers. She mentions the Fauci diaries on CNN, and the whole panel talks, so she can't be heard.
That's actually something where we know he was purposely obfuscating.
We're sitting here talking about Americans who were killed in theater, okay, as a result of a war. We are.
Oh my goodness, the Fauci. They don't want anything to do with the Fauci diary.
Not going to pivot to Anthony Fauci's diaries. That's a different conversation.
You're saying that this is a purposeful obfuscation. We don't know that it was a purposeful obfuscation.
That we learned this weekend.
It was.
Isaiah.
Oh, but why are they? You know why they're so sensitive to that? Because CNN personalities are prominently written about in Fauci's little girl diary. You know, and they're embarrassed by it. You know what? They should be embarrassed. But we're almost out of time, and there was one more clip I wanted to play. Oh yes, okay. This is, I never thought I'd hear a Democrat. You guys, you say I don't say anything good about Democrats. Here's the Democrat governor. This is the Democrat governor of Kentucky. He's on with Caitlin Collins talking about Mitch McConnell because that new fake photo of him just dropped yesterday.
I believe that those two pictures his office released with Senator McConnell in them, do you think that those are an accurate portrayal of his condition right now?
I don't know, and it's stoked even more speculation.
This is the Democrat governor of Kentucky.
That's out there. You know, only putting out 2 statements, not doing any interviews, not calling in when supposedly you're talking to people. Those are the types of signs that people see and become increasingly concerned. We don't have any timetable for when he might get back. And so it's not like we are asking a lot. We're asking the bare minimum. And if he won't do it, it is up to John Thune and the majority in the Senate to make him do it.
Yes.
I think that the Senate Majority Leader has a responsibility to ensure that all of the members have the capacity to serve. Now, some people online are saying, why don't I go and try to storm the hospital? I'm in Kentucky. John Thune's in Washington, D.C. This is somebody he talks to on a regular basis. In the very least, he can give us a report on what he's heard. Or, Caitlin, to be fair, Scott Jennings works for CNN.
That's right.
He can, on air, dial him up, put him on speakerphone, and we can put all this speculation to rest.
Yeah, well, obviously Scott has declined to do so, but relayed what he says he heard from Senator
Caitlin Collins. She doesn't want that breaking news. Yeah, I hey, listen, you guys who think I'm too partisan, I agree with the Democrat governor. Have Scott Jennings call Mitch McConnell up, put him on speakerphone on CNN, and let's hear Mitch McConnell talk. Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. I've got a relative in the hospital, and the battery in my car's dead. So I got a busy morning when I get off the air. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. If you're on hold, hang in there. You'll be first in line on tomorrow's show. God bless America. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. Okay, I'm gonna take one call before I go. Okay, then we'll take off. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Brian, that was a great point to make about the possibility of an internal coup in Iran. It would be a great strategy and would solve a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Solve a lot of problems. So I think that's a great point, and I think that's probably what's taking place right now. You know, like you say, a lot of CIA, Mossad guys in there. That's all you need, and maybe they're still the tilt is already in there. And I don't want to say the fix is in, but it looks like that could be exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So a very good point.
Well, the more of the government officials that we kill, the more likely if we have people embedded in the governments, the CIA and Mossad, the higher up they are in rank and prominence.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially if we're down to the third or fourth tier, they must be pretty close to the top now. So
I don't know if we got people in the.
Gradually.
I don't know about the IRGC. They're so fanatical, but you never know. It's it's possible.
But they've been such a problem for such a long time. I think they've been working this out for quite a number of years, I think.
Well, we infiltrated the mafia, and you had to be like 100% Sicilian to get in to be made. So if we can do that, we can. We've been in Iran for 70 plus years. We have people there that are you wouldn't even know they're not Iranian, or maybe they are Iranian and still with us.
Yeah. Yeah. They've actually made it clear, being inside doing the political situation in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
They've been such a big problem for such a long time, and like you say, creating troubles all over the world. Takes a little time to get these guys out in a mini coup or government takedown. I think it's worth the wait.
Absolutely,
Because when they're gone, boy, this is like blue skies when they get rid of them, and I think it's going to be in the cards. So
absolutely.
I have one other quick note. That thing with Ken Paxton running for like a senator in Texas, being 5 points behind. Do you think that poll is on?
They got him 5 points behind Tallarico.
Yeah.
There's no way. Tallarico, the latest thing from Tallarico is he said he's learned as much about Christianity from Muslim mystics as he has from Christian leaders. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We
really did it. Yeah.
No.
But, being in Texas,
they've been trying to do Paxton. Ken Paxton is not an upstanding moral guy. He's split from his wife, and they had a bunch of video of him in Europe with his girlfriend that he's been with. Him and his wife are split up, and they've been we got to do what we got to do. We got to have a Republican who's MAGA there. We can't have some wishy-washy rhino. But Texas being a red state, it wasn't that long ago that Texas was a Democrat state. Remember, before George W. Bush, the governor was Ann Richards, and she was a Democrat.
Yeah, Ann Richards. Yeah, I remember her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all these elections are important, very critical to watch them. It's going to be interesting how they play out, but we can't let Texas. We can't lose Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that.
All right.
The other guy is such a nut job too. So, okay, Brian. Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Now, before I go, I just want to tell you guys, those of you that are Patreon supporters, I did a video where I shared something. You hear me guys talk often. If you become a Patreon supporter, I talk about things that I cannot talk about here or anywhere else, and that is true on most every live stream that I do. And I did a live stream on Patreon that is there now that you can see if you're a Patreon supporter, where I showed something I cannot show here, and I cannot. I not only can I not play it on the radio, I can't show it here either, but I can show it on Patreon. And guys, go and watch that video, Patreon supporters, and share your thoughts on that. It was it's very disturbing. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the video. And when you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of exclusive content that you will not see anywhere else, and as well as access to my daily Patreon live stream, where there's a live chat. It's it's a troll-free zone. No liberals are allowed, and it's a very active chat room like here on YouTube. And I do talk about things and share things that I cannot talk about or share here every day. And there's a link in the description. When you go to the Patreon link, though, there's an option to become a free member. If you become a free member, you don't have access to the content there. You don't even see it. You have to be a paying Patreon supporter, and that starts at just $5 a month. And not only do you get access to my upcoming content, you get access to the entire back catalog, okay? And, of course, you're supporting all my content at the same time. There's a link in the description to my Patreon page. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Take care. I'll see you soon.